Hey guys, sorry, Mo ended the stream, so we're back.
All right. All right. Are we live, Charlie?
Yeah, we are. Mo ended it on accident when he left.
That's all right. Sharing the link now to get us back up and here.
Sorry about that, Ryan.
Technical difficulties, folks. All right. And we're up and we're sharing. All right. So still no score in the 7th minute for those who are jumping back on.
Now the 8th, yep.
That's right. Yep.
Hopefully we can get the viewers we had back because we had a solid like 40.
Yeah, they'll come back, I hope.
Yep.
All right, so hopefully everybody can jump back in. We've got the links on everywhere, Charlie. So
Cool.
everything that was there again, and I'll make sure I get it back on Facebook too. But
Sick.
hopefully Oscar is able to jump back on. I haven't seen if he's been able to pop in yet. But no, so far City's really has looked pretty decent in transition. I do think Vollum on the right is making a big difference in terms of getting that play to continue down the side of the field. I'm glad to see it back, Ryan Fraley, as we see a picture of Olaf on the screen. He looks really kind of tense.
He wore pants this time. Hey,
well, it's been cold and rainy, so yeah. I guess the shorts and sandals or flip flops, whatever he wears, doesn't his Birkenstock look. He left his beachwear at home. But as we kind of scroll around here, and it looks like we've got a Minnesota United goal as we do Kelvin Yeboah.
And already City drops one. The first goal of the round of first goal tonight for any team. Every other game is still knotted up at 0-0. But the first goal for Yeboah in Minnesota. Systematic failure. Let's look at this replay. We'll see Minnesota player Yeboah come in. He's on Kyle Hebert. He gets past Hebert. He passes it out to the side. You had Horn covering 24. It's a one-touch play, and it's Josh Yarrow who, again, the trend of him getting beat defensively continues as a nice touch, kind of behind the back. Great goal from Kevin Yeboah. But another one you give up early for St. Louis. 10 minutes in, you're already losing.
I mean, it's a nice play, nice cross into a dangerous area, and Yeboah just making a diagonal run into the box, gets inside of Yarrow, and a quick little one-touch goal. And
here comes Wallum, though. City trying to come back, and Vollum's pass goes about 15 feet behind where he was trying to get it.
And he's on the right path.
So we'll see here. But said,
hey, who crossed the ball?
24? Gressel? Was that
Gressel?
Yeah.
Julian Gressel.
Yeah. Gressel with a quality cross. Actually, something to play with. Is a big virtue of the forward Yeboah to get there. and beat Josh. I mean, obviously, well, you as a center back, you should not be beat. You need to win those 50-50 balls, but hey, let's not just start blaming on Josh. Like, it's a good play. It's a very big virtue from Minnesota, a good cross, and very attentive, a great move from the forward. Let's not just start digging on our players. It's just it's something that is good from them, and that's things that we don't do. So we don't do it up front. We don't create those opportunities.
Another unsuccessful corner kick from Marcel Hartel, as another goal kick will occur for Wessel Spiel, the backup goalkeeper. Usually backup goalkeeper, now starter for Minnesota, as they've rested their starter and rotated them out for tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is City still has plenty of time to get back in this, and it's only 1-0. The hard part will be is as the game carries on, we will see Minnesota drop into a low and lower block, and City just has never figured out in its history what to do with the ball, how to break down the side. We've never figured that out. So yet another test to see if we can do it. Going down away from home as well. We'll see how City responds with their body language as well.
JGR gets fouled in midfield, so he'll receive possession.
Because in a game like this, we talked a lot about body language and the mentality of the team. They've got to respond now and figure out how to get back on the front foot, because they really, they hadn't started this game poorly. It was just moments, right? Those little moments where you lose focus or you lose possession in a dangerous area. And to your point, Oscar, it was a great move from Minnesota, a great run into a dangerous area where off-ball movement matters, and we don't do it enough. It's all station to station for us.
Well, did you see this? I mean, it's ridiculous that we had our three center backs having the ball and everybody's stationary. Nobody's moving to create spaces.
Yep.
Wallen was in the middle of the field instead of opening wide to the right, and they forced the JGR to play between a double pressure. So,
and I see some comments in chat about Yarrow. So the thing is, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but let's be honest, he's not generally a starting caliber center back. He's supposed to be your fourth best player. You're looking at guys like Kessler and Nilsson, both unavailable for tonight. Not to make excuses, but it is a reality. And we've had to depend on Yarrow, who somehow he can stay healthy, but nobody else on the back line can. It's hard, and don't know where Kessler was. He played 2 games ago. We haven't seen him on the bench the last 2. Nilsson was back in training. Supposedly had a sleeve on his leg. Was okay, a compression sleeve. Haven't seen him. So that injury crisis where we were supposed to be deep. Remember, we went into the season with 7 center backs on the roster, and everybody thought we were crazy because we didn't sell one before the deadline. Thank God we didn't, because I hate to say it, but where would we be? Would we even have 2 wins on the season without Yarrow? Would we have beaten Omaha without a Josh Yarrow or a Kyle Hebert playing out of position?
I think this team knew that something was wrong with our center backs. I think this team somehow, some ways, they were keeping it on a secret, like, hey, we need 7 center backs right now because we're gonna have 3 that they're gonna break all the time.
I mean, it just looks like City is not energetic. Again, another thing that Chris Gebhardt said earlier yesterday, if they come out, with a certain amount of gusto and motivation, you see them trying to play for Olaf Melberg and buying into the system. It doesn't feel like they're buying in. I see players walking back rather than jogging. Schauklaus the only one jogging back for this play, as Volleman and Teuscher walk back with their heads down, almost mentally defeated 15 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, we know that when we get hit with a goal, we get defeated already mentally. So it's obvious right now that after 11 games now that we are not strong mentally to face the adversity. I mean, we see a little bit of pressure right here and this here and there, but at the same time, it's not consistent. It's not like conviction.
One thing that I find interesting, if I remember when Baumgartel first came in, see, I thought Baumgartel was going to play more of a center back role, not on the right side, because I thought Yarrow was going to be your right center back, and I guess they have Yarrow play deeper because he's more stay at home and faster. I mean, but I swore early on I remember seeing Baumgartel play in that middle position more so than he has now. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's an interesting thing that I've kind of noticed.
He did, because they had Hebert on the wing back almost when he played with Kessler, and back when Nilsson was healthy, they had more options back there too.
Well, I mean, but even then, you could still shift. You could shift Horn inside and move Hebert out wide if you needed to. But I think that's more down to the fact that they want to play progressive on the wings. That's probably why you see Horn tonight, because Olaf's teams don't build through the middle of the pitch. They're all down the wings, and maybe that's the plan tonight, and why you see that offset with Wallem on the right and Horn back on the left where he should be when he's healthy. Entering the 18th minute, still 1-0 Minnesota.
I already feel like I've watched 2 hours of soccer.
Well, it could be in a longer evening here. We'll see what City can do. I just hope we don't go back into trying to go into the kind of hoofball, just launch it forward and pray mentality and game style that we seemingly have done more and more and more of.
Yep.
Again, we're only 18 into this game almost. We lose this tonight. Any chance Olaf survives into the weekend?
There is a chance. There is a chance that Olaf survives. That chance would be that you're saying that this season's a wash no matter what, and you're saying I don't want to fire 2 coaches in the span of 11 months. But I think it's more likely that if they lose this game, he's fired than not.
Why do we keep thinking that it's bad when you fire coaches in 11 months? If you made a mistake, hiring the second coach, you have to fire him. Doesn't matter. It's when you're in a job and any job, any position in the world, if you hire someone and 6 months later this person doesn't perform, you evaluate that person and then you fire them. So it's not any different. This coach is awful. Get rid of him. You made a mistake. Yep. Don't make a bigger mistake and keep him in 12 months. And then the next year, you're going to give him another opportunity. Just see if something happens.
Boy shirt inside. Couldn't get anything. Just a game break real quick while it's cleared out from the box. Orlando City SC takes a quick lead over Nashville SC. 1-0 as Pasalic scores in the 17th minute. And Philadelphia takes a 1-0 lead over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as Damiani scores a penalty kick to make that 1-0. So far, no chance of a cup set for Pittsburgh.
No. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know what serious aspirations there were for Pittsburgh. It's a good story, but it would have taken a lot probably for a team from that division to upset another MLS side. Sometimes that was kind of the question I asked Chris last night. Is part of the problem with the U.S. Cup, the Open Cup, that the pyramid for American soccer as a whole isn't ready to support a tournament of this size, right? Like you don't see, like in the FA Cup, you could see a Coventry City make a deep run, or some of the championship clubs do that. But in MLS, you don't often see that with the MLS Cup. And again, if Pittsburgh falls, then it's down to 8, and all 8 will be MLS. So it's just at that point another MLS game on the schedule to most common fans, probably, right?
Yep. Another quick game break. David Schnegg for DC United has scored 1-0 DC over Charlotte. Again, the winner of this match will go to play the winner of the DC Charlotte match. DC goes up 1-0 on a goal from David Schnegg.
Oh, Bucket had it, man. It's been a terrible day. I had to work. I don't want to talk about the bottlers from Manchester anymore. And this game isn't looking much better as Minnesota's got another chance, but Berkey makes a save off of a set play. But I'm trying to be cognizant of what Oscar said earlier about not commentating. So I apologize for ruining that moment of suspense for anybody, but hopefully it's a good thing that I did. Anyway, it's I think that the key thing here when it comes to Olaf is unless you have a real transition plan, you have your coach in place, you have ideas of what you're going to do when the summer transfer window opens, and you have something that you can actually say is, I believe you're going to do what you say. I don't think it makes sense to fire Olaf. I would really, I'm not, I am as close to fully Olaf out as I can be. I just want some stability for the club, but I don't know that it makes sense to give him the summer window if we don't start to see some kind of something to build on. I think that's the biggest thing with me. If I saw something to build on, I'd be more inclined to say, you know what, let's give it time. But man, right now I just have no faith in a turnaround. And I just wonder, we lose this game today. How soon do we start to see Energizer start to empty out a little bit?
So I've been saying that for a couple weeks now. It's just
because it would be, you lose this game, it'd be one win in your last 12. Because we won against Omaha, we haven't won any other game in any competition, including, I think it's now, is it 11 or 10? 10 in league play?
It's 11.
11. So it would be one win in 12 if we don't win this game tonight.
And that one win is against a USL team who's at the bottom of their table.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just...
So it's basically saying, hey, as like if this is a pro soccer team, it's like, hey, you beat a high school team, you beat a college team, basically.
And honestly, can I the other question I have as well for you guys is, just think about this. We kind of counted earlier. It's 8 of our normal starters. And I know that none of the backline are considered normal starters, right? But it's 8 of our 11 versus a Minnesota team that's rotated 7 of theirs. Does that in any way start to concern you that this team just isn't good enough? Have we been sold a bill of goods on a club and on a roster that isn't as good as Lutz and Olaf wants it to be? Or can we still point back to last year at the end of the season when we first got Toykert and Hartle and those guys in, and we're doing and having some results under Hack? Is it too soon for
I'll tell you this. What at the start of the season was being touted? What were people saying? Like, this thing is really good. It was the defense was really good at the start, right? You see them being banged up and injured, which is partly, I would put at fault of the head coach, because of course they're implementing the training regiments, they're overseeing the training staff, and all that. Whatever they say kind of goes in that situation. So the overall maintenance of the players falls upon the head coach, but also you've had a mix and match of players all season. You haven't had a consistent 11, and you still had good defense the first couple games, right? So what's happening? You look at when Berkey came back, he started to play bad. Of course, probably not 100% yet, but Lund played great in the games that he did play. When Lund got scored on early, he would blow up, but that's the same as Berkey right now. The way I see it is that they were really good at the start of the season, and something changed. They started to lose motivation. Maybe they started to not trust Olaf's plan, as Shuklaus just got absolutely tackled, no call.
So is it? But hold on. So is it a lack in trust in Olaf? Is it a lack in trust between each other? And one thing that and I'm just going to be honest, is we get a nice break here. It looks like potentially for City, if he can play that ball forward, but he doesn't. But anyway, that's frustrating because it looked like we had numbers there for a second.
You did have numbers. You had Conrad Vollum on a great passing lane to kind of give a little upward and a diagonal pass to the right side, and Toykert ignored him. Yeah, so he says, "No, I'm not going to pass to Vollum. I'm going to take it myself and earn a corner kick that's likely going to result in nothing."
Yeah. So, but I wonder though, because of the injuries, how much of the challenge or the problem of this is the players in their set positions, they develop chemistry playing amongst themselves, playing at the same spots. They develop and know how to read each other's minds and where to be and how to play off of each other. Because of how much rotation we've had for various reasons, whether it's injuries, personal leave, or other, we haven't had that consistency. How much of that do you guys buy into that as being a factor?
I'll say this. Last year, you still had the same amount, if not more, injuries during like the summer transfer window area, like where you were starting Anthony Markanek as a consistent like backliner. Nielsen was injured the whole time. Ostrak was out for the rest of the season. Like you had a good amount of injuries still, and your defense and your team was playing way better than you are right now. As Minnesota with a good chance inside City's box, going to play it inside, cleared away by Chris Durkin. But I mean, the way I see it is that you played better last year during the summer transfer window with John Hackworth than you're playing right now, and you still had a lot of injuries back then. So the way I see it is, I don't think the injuries play that much of a factor, because the idea to mix and match and to adapt is the coach's job, right? The ability to keep a team close and to be the ability to keep a team together, to be that glue, to be that locker room guy that's not playing necessarily, but leading the team, to be that leader in the locker room is a big thing. And I just don't know if Olaf Melberg has had that effect. And of course, we can ask about it in the press conference. No one's going to say, yeah, he's been a bad leader, because they're not going to give that answer, because it's not PR good. It's not good for PR, right? But you're never going to know how that fares. I'm just now getting a report from a reliable source here that reported earlier today that the Chicago Fire are approaching Kevin De Bruyne on a free transfer, and that it's the inside sources said that a paperwork was signed and the deal is done. It's not confirmed by anyone else. I have two reports saying that De Bruyne is going to Chicago. But we have no foul. Could have been a penalty there. That's crazy. That should be a penalty.
Man.
No, I think there's not penalty. I think it's just weak.
Yeah, let's look. I want to see this replay. There's contact and he tripped over the ball. It's
just a little weak. It's a little push in the back, but it's not.
No.
Yeah,
but why don't you take the shot?
Yeah, again, you can see Cedric Teukert kind of like a kid with rabies, or an animal with rabies, not be able to drink water. Teukert is not able to take the shot. He's like, he can't take the shot. I don't know. He's shot phobic, I guess. He is not physically able to arch back his leg and quickly hit it forward in a kicking motion.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a little kind of
literally have a better band.
MG threw out a question. I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna go digging for some stats, and I'll try to get you that count of block shots over the first 4 games, just for sake of conversation, because I think that's a great point to talk about when you're talking about City, because I agree, we were allowing a lot of shots. It was just we blocked a lot of them. So I think that made the defense look a lot better than it probably was.
I was just talking about Kevin De Bruyne a second ago. The idea is to be the transfer to be announced in a matter of weeks after the Premier League season ends.
You're talking about him going to Chicago? I saw links from Fabrizio Romano. So I saw links from Fabrizio Romano reporting he was close to signing with Napoli in Italy.
I saw the same thing this morning from Fabrizio saying Chicago.
Okay, I might have seen an old tweet then. That could be.
Either way, some exciting stuff. That
Those are
City...
the plays. Now that everybody digs on Jaro and says Jaro doesn't do anything good, that's what Jaro is good at.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why he's in the side.
That's when he needs to cover those spots, but he is not good at being the last defender and right in the middle where the heat comes in.
Yeah.
But we could put him on as a last center back.
Yep.
100%.
Goal alert. We have Nashville's SC scoring in the 23rd minute. It is Teal Bunbury scoring, the 35-year-old striker from the U.S. tying it up. Nashville and Orlando are now tied 1-1 in the 30th minute. Can't clear it for City. Minnesota will still possess in the final third. Cross and header on goal, and Berkey makes the save.
So I'm just kind of really quickly doing some quick math. In the first game, City allowed 11 shots, blocked 9 of them against Colorado. So, that was the first game. Remember, we touted how good our defense was because we only allowed 2 shots. It was a total of 11, but 9 of those were blocked.
Yep.
Let's see here.
City with some good sustained pressure here. Toy shirt back to Horn. Horn driving inside. Giannis Horn takes a shot at the net. It's going to go wide by about 50 feet. And it'll be a goal kick. But, good about 20 seconds there where you're in and out, in and around the box and putting crosses in and getting chances. Nothing mounted. No shots on goal, which has been the trend for City recently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for possession, but the crosses just don't come off enough for me to be excited about a cross into the box. We've got, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves with Olaf's system, is it's so reliant on the cross. We don't seem to ever consistently build through the middle. And I'm not saying that it's easy, right? Because teams are going to play good defense in the middle of the park. But you've got to find a way. Well, right. But you've got to find a way to break that down. And I think it's going back to something Oscar said earlier. Off the ball movement, your runs, your overlaps, those runs into space. Yep. That's what allows you to play through those defensive lines. And it just doesn't.
Good play by Jake Gerwood-Reich there to stop a chance as later Klaus picks up a foul against Minnesota's number 5. That is Romero. Nicolas Romero, the Argentinian. He's 21 years old. Center back for Minnesota. Currently, it's a 6.65 mob rating in this game so far. The highest rated player is Kelvin Yeboah with the goal. Highest rated player for City right now, Yarrow and Durkin are tied. Good header by Horn.
We talk about being cohesive, have chemistry, and this team has 0. I don't know what they do in practice. Just looking at Hartel, he has missed 3 passes that are the simple pass because he's giving it behind. He's sending it the wrong way because everybody's running differently. That there's literally not communication between them. It's like they all hate each other and never play together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shot City Tactics just released something that was really surprising. Josh Yarrow, out of 393 players, is 384th in net goals plus, which shows how
he's the last.
Like that's horrible.
That's you're talking about. He's the worst. He's the worst statistical defender in MLS in that metric. So yeah, it's terrible.
He's only good at interrupting. Apparently, in this, he's 83% in interrupting, 27% in passing, 15% in receiving. Defensive net goals plus is 1%. That is the worst you can have. You cannot have a 0% in these stats. Jeez.
All right. So,
I mean, you have to see the situational plays, but yes, obviously numbers. And when he is forced to make a play, it gets scored or he makes a mistake, like obviously. But at the same time, it's just like you gotta see the situational because numbers will. I hate numbers, and you know me. Like that's why I try to not throw numbers at anything because you don't see the game on the numbers. You just see what like was a goal, not a goal, was a tackle or not a tackle, but you don't see where it developed. Where was the prior mistakes? We talked about it before in our Mondays versions where we were breaking down like the games And it was like, well, there was one mistake here that lead to another mistake, that lead another mistake. And then the one that gets punished is the last defender that messed it up, right? So your numbers are not going to say that someone let Gressel cross, right? Wide open.
Well, some
your
do.
numbers are not going to say your numbers. I mean, that number that you just told is not going to say that, because that was just a straight one-on-one play that lead to goal. That yes, Yaro gets exposed when in those type of plays, but what lead to those plays?
What, the poor turnovers, the positioning, the lack of chemistry, all of these things play into it, the things in front of them? Or what are you pointing to, Oscar? By the way, just to go back, I threw in the chat for MG, over the first 4 games, we blocked 55 shots. So, I mean, you tell me that our defense is spectacular, but it's down to block shots. Not that you don't want to discount what the defense did, because part of their job is to make sure that they're in the position to stop shots. But you know, that's a high number of blocks in my mind. I haven't looked to see what the comparison across the league was in that time, but I don't know. I think, kind of like I said earlier, is it the rotation? Is it the guys being asked to play in different roles that's killing the chemistry of this team? It doesn't excuse Hartle's poor passing in this game, but does it mean that? Oh God! Oh, thank God!
So we allow them to play too much.
Yeah.
Jeremy, with that, yes. So the rotations and the not playing players on the position they should be, the not sticking with one solid defensive shape, because if remember the first 3, sorry guys if you hear my cat on the back, but if you remember the first 3 games were the same 3 in the back, the same 3 over and over, even when we were blocking very well and we were not like successfully defending or taking the ball away, we were still blocking and not conceding goals. But when you start rotating and moving those pieces so much, I mean, you're putting one game Jaro in the last defender, and then the next one you put it on the right, and then you put Timo in the last defender, and then you put it on the right, and then you move somewhere else. So you don't get that cohesive and that chemistry because you are setting them different places. So your defender or your player, even if your attackers, don't get that repetition of knowing where you need to be, what move you have to do, where your partner is gonna be.
So sorry to cut you off. But you just sparked a thought in my head about this. So I think something I've noticed as I just thought about it, when we had Carnell or even Hackworth last year, we didn't move guys around like this. Instead, we maximized as many short-term call-ups as we did. We'd call up and plug and play from City 2. We might have a little bit less quality, but we kept Marcel Hartle high. We kept Teuscher high underneath Klaus. We kept that solid formation and got the consistency and got the chemistry between players in the positions that they're most effective in. We don't do that here. For a manager who says my job is to maximize the talent in this squad, I don't understand why we have done not as much of that when we've obviously had an injury crisis for a lot of this season. Am I crazy in thinking that way?
I mean, that strategy might work against plumbers in the Allsvenskan, but maybe not in the MLS. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather have a kid. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Is that you I mean, you mentioned it last year, we were given the max of potential to our players, especially in the attack. Like right now, if you see the playing, give those 3 on top freedom, but don't make him go back, because we're 1-0 down already. Like, let's just be creative and get on spaces that we can be dangerous, but we have not even crossed the half with the ball because we're forcing them to defend so long. And then we're not complementing our squad with the players that they need to be. sub out or like
Yeah.
mix and during the season, like have a different people in the season cells.
Yep. Just 5 shots, by the way, so far. None on goal for City in this match through the first 41 plus now. As Cody Castaldi drops a goal alert in the chat for you, Charlie. Nashville SC is taking a 2-1 lead. Not quite sure who got the goal for Nashville, but they are now up 2-1 in their tie.
I'm late on it. Jeez, he's gonna take my job.
Hey, you know what? That's all right. We're here for chat. The chat input.
Well, I'll say this: we got another breaking news goal. 28th minute, FC Dallas. Bernard Kamungo, the 23-year-old left winger from the U.S., scores 1-0 FC Dallas.
Cody, your response to my might just be good enough to get you a beer for me in the next game, my man. That's true. Living on hopes and dreams. That's about all we do.
Oh, here we go. And
that's
Klaus
what we
gets
do.
it up.
It's what we're doing here in the chat. It's what we're doing on the live stream. It's what we're doing at Energizer Park. It looks like we're going to yellow card for a Minnesota player into the books. It's Anthony Marcanic.
It's Anthony Marcanic, the former City player. You're going to have a dangerous free kick outside the box here for City.
Can Hartle do something with it? We've talked about set pieces all for a while. Is this a chance?
This is a time where you miss Edward Leuven.
Yeah. I didn't recognize Marcanic without his little light mustache that he had when he was here. That little peach fuzz mustache. I didn't recognize him.
I recognized him because I looked for the skinniest person on the field, and I was like, wow, it's him.
Oh, my God. Kayla just...
How'd you know? This is what journalists do. I'm working. I'm clocked in.
Look, hey, how do you expect him to know where all the other goals are happening? Okay, he's got to do his job.
All right, guys. Will this go to Moon FC? As Aaron just said, it might. Marcel Hartel ready. It's a 4-man wall with 1 man laying down like he's getting tucked into bed by his grandmother. Marcel Hartel.
Ooh. Just white again. Just white.
You don't call it Moon FC. You call it the goals over there FC. As Marcel Hartel puts it wide. Another wasted chance for St. Louis. By the way, the goal from Nashville was from Ahmed Kasim from Sweden, the 21-year-old right winger. He had the goal. By the way, the first Nashville goal was changed. It was 1-1 based on a Nashville goal. It's been changed to an own goal for Orlando City. Rodrigo Adrian Schlegel, the 28-year-old Argentinian center back, is credited with the own goal. Not something you'd love to see.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're nearing the end of the.
You know something about own
half.
goals, right, Jeremy?
Yeah. I hate.
You know a lot about that from today, huh?
Thanks, Charlie. You're my favorite.
No, of course, man. Of course.
You guys are just all the best. I love you all.
Dude, come on. No, because I'm just continuing the cycle because Oscar is always talking about like me needing to drink some milk. Dude,
I don't care. I don't care. I'm just being difficult. I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah, I know.
Why are you taking it on Jeremy instead of me, Charlie?
He was easy to pick on because the team lost. That's what I'll say.
Look, I'm a United fan. I'm an easy target. We've been irrelevant for over a decade now. No goal patrol in the house.
Chat. Best watch parties are STL Santos and No Goal Patrol. I think they're tied right here. I think they're tied in the best because they're both awesome. 10 out of 10, both of them. They're both amazing. I need to get myself to a Santos watch party one of these days. I don't know when the next one is, but I'll go. I'm excited. You might need to cross all 10 fingers and all 10 toes for maybe another chance for City.
We've yet to really have a truly clear-cut scoring chance in this game. There goes another prayer. Hopes and dreams play FC. Long ball to no one.
Conrad Vollum sends it to the moon.
It's like you start to see shreds of ideas and things that you think could come off that just poor execution when we get into those dangerous spaces and those dangerous moments. There's just another poor giveaway. Like, oh my
misplay
God.
from Cedric. Teukert. Markanek on the left side.
Just hate to see it. It's interesting too how far Baumgartel is pushing up, even when we're defending in our own half. Like, I get we're not sitting in a low block, but it's interesting to me to see how it's to me. It speaks to like what's the level of confidence. It must be pretty high in Yarrow to leave him kind of on an island all the time.
Well, I'll say this real quick. Good play by Josh Yarrow to get the tackle.
Oh no, I wasn't putting a knock on Yarrow there. I was just saying, like,
no. I know you were talking, and I saw it. I just wanted to point it out after you were done talking. That's it.
Yeah, no.
Here comes City in the last minute of extra time. 45 plus 2.
Yeah, but I mean,
Marcel
if you look
Hartel
at
on the left side.
I mean, we're stuck with we're playing 5v3 in the box. Like we are outnumbered. We do not get enough. We don't get enough players into that box to make a cross a really sustain. Oh my! Nobody's making the run to the corner, Klaus. Like, somebody's got to move to the damn corner. I don't understand why off the ball movement is so hard for this team. Why is that? It's like rocket science.
Shao Klaus passes to his schizophrenic dreams as the first half.
Come on, guys. Like, that's.
I'm just playing around.
Come on. I mean, Timo makes the fake run to the space when he's supposed to go there, or like Klaus tries to make the pass. Like, that's all Timo. Yeah. But we also expecting on Timo to make that run when he's a freaking center back.
Yep. No, it shouldn't be on him. It should be on a winger, on somebody.
First half, Deo, who could make it, Dante Silva or Celio Papeu. I'm not going to get into that right now. First half has commenced. Halftime, City down 1-0 after a goal in the 10th minute from Kelvin Yeboah. Some stats real quick. Halftime stats. St. Louis City SC, 53% possession compared to Minnesota's 47%. Both teams have 6 shots. Well, City has 0 on target. Minnesota has 4 on target. Minnesota with 1 big chance. City with 0. City has 178 passes, 78% on those passes. But 78% completion percentage. Minnesota has 154 passes, 77% completion rate. So a lot of turnovers. 6 fouls committed by Minnesota, 7 by City. City has 2 corners so far, nothing off of those corners. And Minnesota United has 1 corner, nothing off of that. We look at accurate long balls. City's at 41% of long ball completion percentage, while Minnesota's at 57%. Minnesota has 74 passes in their own half and 80 passes in the opposition half. City has 99 in their own half and 84 in the opposition half. No offsides calls for City. 2 yellow cards to Minnesota, to Anthony Markanek and to Carlos Harvey, the center back, 25-year-old center back from Panama, and Chris Durkin was awarded a yellow again in that first half. So a tough first half. You're already down 1-0. What do you guys think? I think at this rate,
no comment.
At this rate, I think if City keeps playing like this, Olaf Melberg will not be head coach come Saturday, I think.
I mean, yes and no. So, like, we need, and sorry saying this, but we need Minnesota to score 2 more. Or 3 more. And then that will really put pressure on, like, okay, enough is enough. But, yes, if we are analyzing how it's played, my biggest concern is that there's no dynamic play. When we have the ball, everybody stands. There's no clue what we need to do with the ball or off the ball when we're on the offensive side. We almost lost our marbles just in the last play because Klaus and Timo miscommunication on where to go and where the pass should be. So it's happening in every single piece of the play. It's not only in the last third. It's happened on the back. It's happened in the middle. Hartel has missed 3 passes that they're the same. It's like he looks one way, he passes that way, and then the person runs the other way. So there's no dynamic. Like I said, there's no connections. Nobody wants to move off the ball to create a space. Everybody has one speed. If you see, nobody's like the way that Celio or Sunday, they take the ball slowly and then they explode. None of us will do that. They're the ones that we have right now. They all run at one speed. They receive the ball and they stay the same way.
Yeah, so City goal, not from St. Louis City, but former St. Louis City player Indiana Vasilev scores in the 45th, in 46th minute of extra time. The first minute of extra time of that first half. He knots one. It's 2-0 Philadelphia Union versus the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. Some halftime scores around the league. Still 1-0 DC leads Charlotte FC.
But it's not a City goal, so
It was a City player goal.
Any player that leaves our team doesn't involve our franchise anymore. They're gone. They didn't do anything. Thank you very much. No, they're not part of anything. They didn't win any trophies. They didn't win anything. So sorry. If you guys were good, they were good. Cool. Now you're in another team. I don't care about that. Sorry.
New York Red Bulls trail Dallas 1-0. Nashville SC leads Orlando SC 2-1 in extra time of that first half. It just ended, and that ends all the first halves tonight. 30 minutes until that Austin versus Houston game starts.
So, in a word, guys, the first half is, I would call it feeble. Another word is toothless. No shots on goal in the first 45. Oscar called out some interesting stats or interesting points about the lack of movement. Amy Murr in the chat, we get 70% there and blow it. The first thing I just went and looked at was entries into the final third. Final third. We play like a bunch of turds. No, entries into the final third compared to touches in the box, right? And I bring that up because at the press conference going into this game, Chris Durkin said that we have enough chances. We have enough opportunities to cross it, that touches in the box is an overrated stat. I really disagree with that. Like, I don't understand. You're even on 20 on entries into the final third. So both teams, Minnesota and City, at 29 entries into the final third. We've only had 9 touches in the box right now. And I don't think that's enough. You're not going to, I'm sorry. Unless you're creating overloads in the final third in the box on those crossing opportunities consistently, where you've got 3 or 4 or 5 guys in the box, a cross is not a viable way to create a high enough scoring opportunity enough. I don't care if you've got Klaus. I don't care if you've got Romelu Lukaku. One guy is a great target, but if he's got 4 guys on him, it's going to have to be a perfect pass. What happened when we just got beat? Minnesota got their goal on a cross. Why? It was one-on-one defending. We can't match up 1v1 if it's 5 defenders on 3 attackers in the box. It just doesn't work. We're not quick enough in the attack to exploit them on the break and get in dangerously like they did against us in a way. So that, to me, is the problem. We have a fundamentally flawed primary method of attack of crossing it, and it just doesn't work. And that is exemplified by 9 touches in the box. 9. It's not going to win you a game consistently.
I think, Jeremy, do you want to take a 5-minute break?
I mean, I'm cool hanging out with the folks here and chatting,
Okay.
Throwing up questions from the chat. If you need to step away, get water, get a drink.
I am going to be right back. I'm going to get a snack.
Yeah, no problem. I'll keep blabbing about City and go on a soapbox for 5 minutes. Any other thoughts, questions from the chat? Happy to address those as we talk halftime here on Top Corner Talk. Charlie Bill, you, Oscar Rojas, myself, Jeremy Clements. We all say thanks for watching. Of course, if you're on the live stream on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share it out, post it across socials. The more the merrier in our live chat. As also, I think Charlie's streaming this live on X. So again, if you're following there, follow Charlie, follow all of us. Oscar has his Instagram linked there as well. I think we're going to be going live there. We've also got a Twitch. So big things coming here on Top Corner Talk on the channel as we look to really bring a depth of soccer coverage to City and beyond. Mo does a lot of great stuff as well with in-depth interviews on his channel too. So I see Oscar's pop back on. Oscar, any thoughts from you on the game or on these crosses? I was talking about that just a little while ago. How reliant we are on crossing. I don't feel like that's a sustainable or method of attack. What do you think?
No, you nailed it. I was here. I just turned off my camera because I'm having a bite. But I was here and listening. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it on the way that unless you have a Romelu Lukaku, we have a Didier Drogba, or
Ibrahimovic,
even
get
like
a big
Oliver
contract.
Giroud, like big, strong number 9s that you know you were gonna win the headers. You can't rely on crosses. Like you can send a perfect cross as the sender, but if you don't have a strong person in the box that can attack those, then it's not gonna be anything in the air or in the ground. Because at the same time, like if we see how we got score on, it's a great cross from Gressel. But what happened with the forward? He actually make a run on the space and attack the ball to get that opportunity. The other thing that we don't manage well is that when we're having crosses, our speed of play is so slow that when we're making the cross, they already have 5, 6 guys in the box. So there's a higher probability that they are gonna defend well and clear the ball comparing to when we got a tag on, we had only three people in the back, right? In the box. And one they were very spaced out. So Jaro had to cover all this distance and then he got beat on. So there's that dynamic play that I talk about. You cannot have such a slow pace of play leading up to your cross because you just let the entire defense set. And what it shocked me that, for example, like Berkey recognized that we got beat up so easy on 1-2s against Kansas City, and he mentioned it multiple times that they're not easy to defend. Yeah, of course, the 1-2 is one of the most simple plays in soccer, but it's one of the most effective. But how you do 1-2s, you have to be again dynamic. You have to have move on and off the ball. You have to play quick, and we don't do any of those.
No. Well, and two of your best players at that are on the bench, and Pompeu and Silva. You know, here's the thing. I guess the thing that I find frustrating is I understand we went out and paid some good money for Hartle and Toykert, right? They were big signings, big, free transfers, but big contracts. One of them is a designated player. The other one's a TAM player. I don't know if we're going to, if our thought is we want to play, in my mind, a deep playing like almost a low mid block defense and just hit quick on the counter. You don't have that game breaking pace in Hartle and Toyshirt. They're not going to do it. Pompeu and Silva can. Alm could if he could stay healthy. I don't even know where he is at the moment. He didn't even make the trip apparently. But that it's just, it doesn't make sense. I see pieces that I think, okay, this could work or that could work, but not in the style we're trying to play under Olaf. And that's where my head goes with the disconnect that we continue to see.
Yeah, I mean you're saying a lot of good things, and as we play a system with the wrong players, offensively and defensively, and we keep doing everything wrong because we try to play these long balls now. Like for example, Melo is putting in the chat that for long balls we will need a player like Painsil. If we're gonna play that style, of course, like we do not have. I mean, Celio can do that, and Sunday might be faster, so it might be more fit to that style. But if we're gonna have that strategy, why we don't play them?
Yep.
And the reason we don't play them is what you mentioned. We paid a good amount of money for Hartel and Torture, but not on the transfer window because we like to get things for free. But at the same time, like we're giving them good money. Like we're supposed to have the good players. They're a higher quality players, so we're not gonna have them out of the squad because these are money makers. These are most expensive players, and that's where your coaching staff should have enough power, enough I don't know, like balls about it to make sure it say like, hey, my higher pay players are not producing. We need the other guys to step up and show them how to do it. But I don't think Olaf has that mentality. I think he's with that mentality of like our best, more expensive players need to play because they're the most expensive players. Because we have seen it like that.
Yeah, and so it just kind of goes back to the conversation I think we had on Monday of, did we hire the right manager? Because it just seems like we hired a manager who either sold us a fake resume or sold us on a fake plan or something, because it sure doesn't seem that he complements what we're trying to do. Or is it a case where Olaf built a team for Carnell and now says, well, he won't admit we're scrapping that and starting over. But that's kind of where it feels like we're at under Melberg, is having to scrap it, even though nobody will come out and admit it. I don't get it. And it's mind-boggling, as it looks like we're about to start the second half. As it looks like the players are coming back on the pitch at Allianz Field. They're going over some stats again. City, 6 shots, none on target. They did have the bulk of possession at 54%. Durkin took a yellow for City. We've stayed on side all game, but largely because we haven't been in a dangerous enough position consistently enough to be offside yet. So anything you think we change at the half? Any subs? As I'm looking at the lineup now, trying to look to see if I see any changes. It looks like Minnesota is unchanged.
Here comes Watts.
Is it? Yep. We have 67.
Horn.
Okay, so it looks like Minnesota's got a sub as well, but you said Watts for Horn. Yep. So Watts
it says Watts for Horn. So that was one of my questions. How long was gonna Horn last?
So then Wallem going back to the left side now, Horn probably at the right, you think? Looks like that.
Yeah, Watts going to the right and Wallem going to the left.
Yeah, it looks like Minnesota. Minnesota looked like they had made a sub as well. Trying to see if I can gather who that was. It was 67 for 15. Sadly, I'll admit I'm not familiar enough with their roster to know who that is. Looks like Michael Boxall is coming on in place of
67 was Harvey. That was
Harvey. Yeah. So they took a center back off who has a yellow on for Boxall. So
Boxall is one of his stronger center backs, if not the main center back of their team. So
normal starter there. So good call. So they're live and we're underway. With Minnesota leading 1-0 in this knockout round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. It's the round of 16, the furthest City has ever played in the competition, and the 110th running of the tournament. And City needing a second half comeback to try to continue this run and maybe spark something in this.
And we put our most creative and most dynamic and most dangerous player, Watts, in for Horn. So I think we are having great thoughts for this half. Watts can create so many dangerous plays that I think we're on the front foot, right?
Or it's just honest, Horn couldn't play more than 45 minutes.
Well, he's on a minute.
You're losing. You're losing. You're losing.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing is, playing your best and strongest XI only works if you get the lead, and we didn't get the lead, and so now what?
And if you're gonna make that move, might as well put Celio and Zonde in, right?
Well, that's what doesn't make sense.
I think that's your best 11. Includes Zonde and Celio. Those are your best goal scorers.
Well, but in what positions? Because while you were away, that was a conversation Oscar and I were having. I mean, do you set Hartle and Toykert? Do you set Klaus? Like where do you put them?
I'd sit a guy like Horn and put Celio at that almost wingback position, or have Wallem play that wingback position and switch them, right, to get Celio in, because Horn already didn't play well in the 45 minutes of time limit he was on. And then Toykert hasn't been playing good at all. You put Hartel where JGR was. You take out JGR, because JGR was playing almost the offensive midfielder, because, you have Durkin that can play a more defensive slot. So you take out JGR, you put in Hartel on that slot, and then you take Toykert out and you put Zonde in.
You're not going to set Toykert. He's tied for the leading goal scorer. I mean, you're going to take. I mean,
which isn't a high bar.
No, but if he's the only guy that he's got to 2 goals, I think now this season. So I don't know.
He's been bad recently. He hasn't taken shots. I'm not gonna go off of just because you scored some goals early in the season against the LA Galaxy. I'm not gonna start you just as a given.
No, Toiker got the fluke goal in the loss the other day. He got that fluke goal on the show, as he tried to block it.
Yeah, I mean,
ooh. Yep.
I mean, you at this point, yes, and Mo has said it multiple times, like we have to start sitting these guys. Toicher's not being effective. Like his goals are not being really great goals like last year.
No.
I do not put that much pressure on them because we don't give him enough balls. But like when he gets the chances, he has been missing. And then Hartel should be set. Like he's not creating anything whatsoever. And like this game is actually playing more free technically and a little bit higher. So he should be there himself. It's hard to just turn it on in one game, yes, but we need him. Good players supposed to do that. So those two should be not playing a full minutes, and definitely the other two guys need more space to play.
Yeah.
Sunday.
And Minnesota has come out strong in the second half, really
Very
looking
strong.
to kill. They're trying to kill this game off early.
I don't blame the way the city's playing. I'd kill them off too.
No, well, there's nothing to be afraid of. We had no shots in the first half. And we just give the ball away there at midfield easily again because there's nobody to support anything. Toyshirt touches it forward. Klaus is 5 yards further and Hartle's off to the left. There's no chemistry. These guys look like you would expect a new team to look in the preseason, and we're almost 20 games into under Olaf at this point. Like, I understand you're moving them around, but somehow these guys have to have some kind of enough familiarity with each other to do something worthwhile. And so speaking to your point on accountability of the players, you're 100% right. We're getting some build up here. Hartle on the left now, but we'll see what happens in the second half as we're 5 minutes in and City's still yet to register a shot on goal. 50 minutes into this game, as another miss there as Klaus looks dejected, although he does give a clap to Akil Watts, who tries to cross into. I mean, it was a decent ball into a dangerous spot, but what's interesting is I know Minnesota is one of the lowest teams in possession. I forget where they are in terms of pressing when it comes to Minnesota, but they are one of the top defensive teams too. They've only allowed like 13 goals all season, I think, at this point, not counting the cup competitions. But so they've been fairly strong defensively as well. So it's a tough test for us. And like I said, going into this game, guys, my concern is if you're playing your best 11, or at least a majority of your best 11 against what is a fairly rotated Minnesota side, and you can't even put a shot on goal and test their backup keeper, it just feels like this team is broken.
This team, like Amy just said, where's the passion at? This team looks like they don't want to play for Olaf Melberg right now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's something at this point. I don't think you can deny it at this point, guys. That there is something with this team. I some of it's on the players, but there's just, it's almost like apathy. You talk about when results don't go your way, they've talked about it for weeks, how they have to bunker in and be mentally strong to get through it. But I'm just not seeing enough fight for the badge. I'm not seeing somebody out there, even with Berkey back now, somebody out there trying to pick him up, trying to say,
Berkey's looked lost too. He's given up a couple stinkers.
I need to go back and look. I don't know that I fault Berkey for any of the goals that he's let up. He got a hand on the aggressive goal at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I see it is that, I don't know, it just feels like the chemistry that PI's developed with Blunt just kind of wiped out because these guys, I don't know, it feels like they played really good under Lund, that backline did, and then they started to falter as soon as Lund left.
Well, I think that's partially
it's definitely a correlation, not a causation, but just something I noticed.
But I think we need to go back and again look at the personnel. How many of those games, did he have Kessler in front of him for a few? I mean, again, how many games consistently have you had to run out Yarrow, Baumgartel, and Hebert for 90s?
I'm fine with Baumgartel and Hebert running out for 90s. I'm not fine with Yarrow running out for 90.
No, well, but I'm saying on short rests, like this is normally a point like where you would see rotation because you can't on 3 days, playing 90 at the weekend, playing 90 today, the Wednesday before play 90 against Sporting.
And then you have 7 on your bench, and when you could have 9.
Yeah, and none of those are center backs. So, Vincel's not there. Nilsson's hurt. Kessler may not be available. Again, that's a question for post-game for Olaf. Where are your subs? But because, honestly, at this point, if Minnesota sits out and starts to really run at us, I really fear for our ability to not get outrun with guys like Gressel, Wong Lane, if they bring Oluwashi back in, not to mention the goal scorer, Kelvin Yeboah. They don't have to go get another goal, but I just wonder late in this game, if they decide to turn it on again, what are we going to do? Because they've seemingly taken a step back now from their high press, their high energy press to start, and are starting to let us get back into the midfield, kind of setting up in a more of a mid block for us to try to break down. They haven't backed down as deep as they were in the first half, at least within the first 10 here of this this second half of play.
Yep.
And in the chat, MG again, you've got preseason feel because we're not playing fast. Nobody's playing fast. There isn't a real strong tempo to this game as City earns another corner here.
The only people that are playing fast right now are the TSA agents, maybe getting ready to process a ticket back to Stockholm. That might be the only thing moving fast right now.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not right now, because Cash got kind of the media personnel that are in charge of the press conferences weren't very happy when I asked for input from fans, because I was curious what they would see. So I think mostly we'll go with our own opinions, but of course y'all can influence those. That's just what's based off of what I've heard and been told so far from people in power within the media space.
And so that was a rare opportunity there. You've got a numeric advantage in the box, or at least are even. So that was a good opportunity there on that cross.
Yeah, and Baumgart's going to send it back in.
And again, there's another good dangerous ball. So City's starting to get some dangerous looks here with some crosses in, and there's a goal. There it is. That's what you got to keep doing as City gets a goal. Marcel Hartl with a header from Baumgartl. City equalizes in the 55th minute. Sorry for the commentary, folks, if I've ruined it at home, but there's some excitement because City have gotten a goal and are equal here in the second half. So a good series of crosses gets guys forward. Guys, that's what we need to see if we're going to rely on the crosses,
about
right?
Time. Let's go.
It only took 3 bites at the apple.
Yeah. Great play here. Baumgartl, he's hustling to the ball, and look at Hartel. He's in the goal. He is the soccer ball in the net, and he comes out and redirects it perfectly.
Well, it's awareness. It's Baumgartl's awareness to make the run to the corner to keep the ball in on the second cross in from the left, and then to quickly see that you've got Hartl unmarked in the middle. There were 2 or 3 red shirts there unmarked near the spot, and he plays it in. Go ahead, Oscar. I thought you were going to say something.
There was some conviction. Finally there was some conviction in attacking, like putting numbers up front and actually trying to attack the balls that they were played. So that's a little different of what we've seen. So it's something good, something positive to obviously commentate. And we're back in the game. Like we're showing a little bit of life, but let's see if we can stay together.
Yeah, and again, I apologize to the folks. I see a couple folks in the chat. I apologize for spoiling the goal if I did. So I'll try to be better, a little bit more aware, and kind of stall my excitement. But let's see what City can do. This is a moment to build on. So what did we say a few streams ago, gentlemen? The last time we did a watch along, the first 5, last 5, and the first 5 after you get a goal or concede. Time to see what happens next.
Yep. You had a great chance from Hartel. You had a 2-on-1 and a good defensive play by a Minnesota center back.
And Olaf's back up on the touchline. He doesn't look dejected anymore.
Thank you. That's amazing. And nobody's found in the middle of the box at the start of the 58th minute.
That is a nice, but here's the thing. That kind of energy right there you just saw from Teukert, that shows they're building confidence. I hate to say it, but that's the move of a confident player who's like, okay, we've had something positive happen. Let's build on it.
Okay,
Yeah, there's
game break real quick.
There's a big difference right now.
There is.
Yeah.
Philadelphia
of their,
Union.
Their idea of playing.
Yeah, the energy has picked up a whole hell of a lot for the boys in red right now.
Stanley Jean-Jacques, the 25-year-old Haitian defensive midfielder, scores for Philadelphia 3-0. Philadelphia leads Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC.
All right.
The only USL team left is down 3.
So there was a good cross from Hartel also, like connected to Klaus. Like at least we're seeing that space a little bit better. I think it's just like what you say, a little bit of confidence. Like let's take this moment that we actually score and we did something good to build up upon and create more dangerous plays. So let's see if we can carry on this. Start connecting better passes, get more dynamic on the movement. So
I'll say this right now. I think City might be a little lucky that there's no virtual assistant referee. There's no VAR because Hartel did start that play in the goal.
But where was he when the ball played? It's when the ball is played, not where he was in the goal. So
yeah, no, I'm saying for what I saw and what I'm seeing right now, it looked like he may have been a little offsides, but okay, no VAR.
I think the cross was coming from the line.
Yeah, so he just has to be a foot.
Like very close on the line.
It was close. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, so the key thing too is City has to be careful. Sometimes if they get overconfident, they'll push too far and get caught out. And we almost did there, but to your credit, Oscar, you'll call it out again. Yarrow holds that up long enough to get coverage back and to get the team back in front and into a strong defensive shape. And now Minnesota has to reset. So that's something, again, if you don't have the pace of Yarrow there, who knows if they're able to do that and able to cut that out. But the other two things from a mentality perspective, City was continually playing well and building there. They didn't get an outcome. They have to not let their heads drop because they didn't get a payoff for that spell of positive play. That's, they've got, that's the next step, right? Because it can't be, okay, we got a goal. Now we're going. And then all of a sudden we don't get the follow-up on our continued push. And now we can't drop. We have to stay at that level.
That's true. Cody beat me to it, but a goal for Charlotte. It's Patrick Agyemang. I think I said that horribly wrong. Agyemang, the 24-year-old American Agyemang, sorry, 24-year-old American striker, scores in the 58th minute for Charlotte. It's 1-1 in that game.
So, we didn't like the first half. I feel like the first 10 or so of the second half weren't great, but City's starting to grow into the game, guys.
Charlotte scores again. Wow. Sorry to interrupt you, but Charlotte just scored 2.
Absolutely fine. We're calling out goals. Goals all over the place.
I didn't catch who it was. Let me look back again. I'm looking at the replay right now.
So we'll see. But again, I like the last 10 minutes or so of City from the 50th minute on. Probably our best spell in this game, guys. As City starts to get a footing. I don't notice anything really tactically that seems super different.
No.
Looks like actually interesting. What I do see is maybe Hartle's pushed up farther alongside Klaus.
Yeah.
With Toyshirt playing underneath him more of a 10 role, it seems.
Yep.
So that might be something to keep an eye on is playing Hartle more of the second striker, but that just may be him and Toykert switching because they both like to play in that advanced playmaker role. Bill
Tulima, the goal for Charlotte. Tulima, I probably said it wrong also. He is the captain for Charlotte, 30-year-old New Zealander. He's a center back. He scored on a corner kick.
Are we going to have to start paying Cody for being our score correspondent in the chat?
We don't make any money from this, so that would be dumb.
Cody is all over the scoreboard tonight, folks. And we appreciate it.
And Orlando scores again. I just saw that.
I'm less watching the scoreboard and more watching City, so I apologize. I'm not as in tune with the scoreboards around the league.
I'm doing both. I'm trying to do both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wish we could pay him, but that's fair. We're looking. Hey, any sponsorships y'all know that maybe want to sponsor Top Corner Talk? Let us know. Do you have a restaurant next to your house? Go be like, yo, there's this really cool podcast. I'm going to show it to you, and you should sponsor them. And do it to every single restaurant in St. Louis or every single establishment until they give you a restraining order.
You know, Cody, man, we've got a goal. Who knew? Goals are fun, right? I never would have known that watching this team.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you know, I think, I guess the question is, God, I hate to say this too, because I feel like I talk out of both sides of my mouth sometimes, but it's like, man, as Pereira's coming in for Minnesota now in the
and it was real quick, it was Ramiro Enrique scoring, or Enrique scoring, the 24-year-old Argentinian striker scoring for Orlando City to even it up. Good.
All right. Yeah, so Pereira comes in from Minnesota for Gressel. So Gressel out, Pereira in.
Yep.
Pereira had the second goal for Minnesota at the weekend from just outside the 18.
Another one.
Point, yeah, but
sorry, I'm gonna do one more. There's two more goal breaks, and then I'll shut the hell up. Okay. Pittsburgh scores, and then New York Red Bulls Mohamed Sofo, the 20-year-old Ghanaian left winger, scores for New York, and they even it up versus FC Dallas. Okay, I'm muting. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. The one problem I'm gonna have is we've started to see some positives now. So do we start to hear Olaf, we were the better team for X amount of minutes? Or do we start to hear from Lutz or from others that, hey, we're seeing positive progress? So is just that enough to keep Olaf in his job a little bit longer? Those are the questions that I have. You can unmute if you want to answer those. Whether you or the chat want to chime in, more than willing to take the comments or the questions from anybody. I think that's just the conversation, though. That seems to be the low point we're at is progress enough? Not just the result, but is it a result or is it progress or is it both?
Let's take a look at this goal for City. I'm going to mute it just so we don't get copyrighted. You'll see Hartel comes out of the goal, plays it here at the baseline. They're all onside. Unless they're saying that Hartel was offside before that, which he was not. So, yeah, it's a clean goal. Even if there was VAR, it's a clean goal.
Good. Oh, no, so good. Thanks for closing the loop on that. And, I think that's good follow-up as we continue to build down the left-hand side here going into the 66th minute. All right, I apologize. I'm going to have to turn off my camera, Charlie, because the reactions by themselves are going to give this away. But another City goal. This one scored by João Klaus. Another lovely cross from Marcel Hartl off the left side of the field. Finds Santa lurking on the back post. And like Joey Zanaboni says, City leads. Here we go, baby. What is it? He scores with his left. He scores with his right. You better watch out. He'll score on you twice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Let's go. João Klaus.
All right, I'm done. But, man, City leads, baby. What a turnaround. Okay. I'm back on the old. Are we back on the Olaf bus yet?
We'll see it. Well, talk to me in a couple minutes. We'll see.
So Volum out, Ostrak in. I'm and Zielinski in as well. It looks like
I like
so
that.
Double
Zielinski
substitution.
coming in. I like
so
it.
We'll have So Zielinski and Ostrak.
Open Cup legend Joseph Zielinski, dare I say?
Yep. So here we go. As City leads for the first time in this game. Man. What a turnaround as hopefully Oscar can come back and give us his thoughts, but a wonderful bit of play there. City again. That's all because they get bodies forward and create an overload where Klaus can be found on the back post and a lovely ball. Marcel Hartl yet again creating another scoring opportunity. He leads the club in shot creating actions, and he's been pivotal in helping create opportunities. He's got a goal and now an assist.
Sadly, this won't count towards his MLS record, but yeah, this is a good. I mean, he's been the catalyst for all the goals so far. Marcel Hartel, when you let him go up in space, you talked about the managerial shift you saw after half that led to that first goal, and then the second one is that you let Marcel Hartel play higher, and then he makes the plays happen. They're gonna get Minnesota's gonna get Anthony Markanek got fouled by Joseph Zielinski. Forget about it. You got the foul. Just forget about it. But
yep.
I got no clue. I didn't see it.
I'll have to look at that one too. But Aaron, you put in the chat. I will wear the cone of shame if I have to. For as much as I complained about crosses, if this is how this game goes, hey, kick me out of the north end for a game, shun me over somewhere else, make me sit in the upper deck in the 200s. I don't care, my man. Just do what you got to do because, hey, I'll take it.
Cross from 50 yards out from Minnesota is cleared away. Zielinski on the header. Minnesota trying to keep it in. Ostrak still chasing. Number 7 for Minnesota takes it back. Gets across Ostrak. He fouls him. He could get a yellow here. Ref coming in. Will he reach into his breast pocket? It looks like he will not. Ostrak will not get any disciplinary action as the Minnesota player is still down, being shoved away. They'll have another free kick on the other side this time from 50 yards or 60.
So game's gonna get chippy. Is that Sang Bin? It looks like who was fouled. It's Sang Bin, he's a solid player too. But Ostrak went through him on the challenges. He cut back. He beat his man. Ostrak just pulled him down. It was a nice play by Sang Bin, who is rumored to be being sold. Now I saw a story earlier that he's actually going to be moving on this summer. I don't remember the club he was linked with, but yeah, another dangerous opportunity here. So City's going to bunker. I don't know if I want to say we bunker down and go into a low block at this point.
No, you go kill the game.
Hey, 100% I'm with you on that as Berkey punches that dangerous cross in away for a corner now going into the 70th minute of play. But this team has a noticeably different spirit about them now. The high-fiving Berkey after the punch out. That was something you wouldn't have seen 20 minutes ago in this game. So
what did Olaf say during halftime? That's my question.
Well, hey, but the problem was, I don't know if that works because it wasn't until 10, 15 minutes into the second half did you see it happen. So
they were still playing. They made the subs and they were still playing higher. They had more possession in the opposing half rather than their own because you look at the majority of their passes in the first half were in their half, right? They were defensive passes, sideways passes, backwards passes, nothing that's productive. They started to have productive chances, passes, and move the ball around in Minnesota's zone. Houston and Austin FC just kicked off. The winner of that will play the winner of the Philadelphia-Pittsburgh game, which is currently 3-1 in favor of Philadelphia and Bradley Carnell, the former Salem City SC coach.
Yeah. And Cody, going back to your comment about SETI chirping 27, I will look into it because you know what? Honestly, here's the thing, and I'm going to drop the word shithousery. We need some of that on our team. That was something that, if I remember right, when we signed Kessler or traded for Kessler, one of the biggest things everybody went crazy on social media with was the game where from New England, where he ran up and tossed the ball off the stand into the bleachers to kill time.
Chris Durkin. So I'm going to interrupt you. Chris Durkin's down. He's holding his midsection. He is in a lot of pain.
He's holding his hamstring.
He was holding a little bit of both. I wasn't sure if he was resting his hands in his midsection, but he took a hard tackle. He made the tackle and then got called for a foul on it, but he basically ran into the Minnesota player's knee. He is now sitting upwards. Trainer gives the thumbs up. Hopefully he's all right because he did just come back from that medial collateral ligament injury, the MCL, in that right knee. He is up and moving. Looks like he won't be subbed out. Drink some water. Rub some dirt on it. He'll be all right. He's back in the game. That was Durkin shithousery, per se.
Yeah, but
Durkin's going to have to come off for a minute. Oh, look at Massar Hartel talking. Looks like pretty, maybe not chirping, but maybe chirping with a Minnesota player on that right side.
Yeah. We're showing a little bit of character. We're showing a little bit of what's the word? Cojones in this game.
I think that was either Duggan or Harvey he's talking to. It was 27 again.
Yeah.
Number 27, that is who is number 27 for them? I'm not seeing a 27 in their lineup.
Well, see if we can find out who
DJ
that is.
Taylor. That's DJ Taylor. 27-year-old. Number 27. He's 27 years old. He's American. Playing for Minnesota. Here's Minnesota with a chance. Roman Berkey with a good gobble of the ball.
Yeah,
And Mo's
talking about
back.
body language, I see Minnesota players starting to display some frustration as Mo has rejoined, where they're wanting fouls, they're looking for whistles, they're looking for stoppages every time something happens. So this is a really different watch in the last 20 minutes since City's really been in the ascendancy in this game.
First time City SC scored 2 goals since they played against Kansas City.
Yeah, and I almost crashed my car once or twice.
Oh my God.
Look, Mo, I yelled City leads like Joey Z and it scared you. I know. I'm sorry. You didn't know what to do.
I was not listening.
Ouch. Okay. Anyway. Look, I wouldn't listen either. I'm a United fan. You shouldn't listen to me. I don't know anything, obviously.
Yeah, so the only silver medal you'll be getting today is maybe a participation one. The only silver you'll be getting is maybe if City is the runner-up in the Open Cup, because that's the only the silver trophy you're gonna get as a fan.
There's no silver trophy in soccer.
Europa Cup. There's no. It's not silver.
There's no. They get a medal. They get
a medal.
Medals.
Oh, I'm tripping. My bad. I thought there was a trophy.
No.
Well,
no,
there's a trophy for the winners. Yeah.
Winners get a winners
I'm
get a trophy.
The color it's made out of silver, not like the runner-up.
No. Winners get a trophy and a medal. The runners-up always get medals, just like they do in other like Olympics and stuff. But in soccer, most seem to just toss them aside. Or I've seen people chuck them into the stands before. Those participation medals.
That's still disrespectful. I don't understand those guys that do that. Take it off your neck, fine. But it's memorable. You made it to a final. You might as well enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks you lose, right?
Or use it as motivation, right? Use it as motivation. You're like, oh, I only got a silver medal. I need to do better.
Yeah.
It's a medal. Like only a handful of teams have this type of medals. There's not many people that say we've been to a final.
Nope.
Cody, you're playing too. Mourinho did that. And Mourinho is my GOAT.
I would like him back at United, actually.
FC Dallas scores again.
Is he still at Fenerbahce? Is he still at Fenerbahce? I think that's where he was.
Still causing trouble and everything.
Yeah, I know he is. I love his press conferences, Mo.
He's awesome. There's the only people that hate him is the teams that he coaches against, but anybody will love to have him as a coach.
I hated him when he was at Chelsea, loved him when he was at United, and I loved him ever since. So no, Mo, you said you were driving. Have you gotten a chance to see the highlights or watch much of the second half at this point, or are you just
yes, I was listening and I saw the goals as well too, but so I'm at 75-30.
That's where we're at. I'm 75-28. I'm about 10 seconds behind.
75-40.
So I won't say anything, but yes.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
What?
You just said you won't say anything. That gives
as of like because I'm ahead.
Oh no, you're good.
Yes.
I mean, I probably ruined both goals for people because I was the first goal I know I said too early, and the second one my reaction gave it away. I think Charlie and I did the same thing. We were just like, yes.
Luciano Acosta scores for FC Dallas.
Nothing has happened in the future just yet.
The Red Bulls are on the ropes as they trail 2-1 in the 78th minute after a Luciano Acosta goal.
I'll tell you what, Charlie. I'm going to say this too. I will honestly wear this as my own cone of shame again. I have been clamoring for Marcel Hartl to play in the middle of the pitch all season, but honest to God, since he's moved out to the left, it's completely changed this attack. Like he is better suited as kind of an in-between winger. Because man, him playing on that left-hand side has really opened up the pitch, it seems like. And it could be that along with the combination of what Minnesota is doing tactically. But man, Marcel in those half spaces on the left has really changed things, it seems
in this second half. City, it's 50-50 possession-wise. But City has 3 shots on target already in this half compared to 0 in the first.
Well, we were shotless through 50. We were shotless, I think, up until the
shot on goal list.
Yeah, we didn't have any shot. Well, yeah, but we didn't have any shots on goal probably until the goal. I don't think.
That was
I
the
don't-
first shot on goal. Marcel
Mhm.
Hartel currently with the highest FOTMOB rating, 8.3 or 8.5. Pardon me, I can't read.
with a goal and an assist to his credit in this game,
Yep.
the opener, and then assisting the Klaus, what could be the game winner if the result holds.
Hopefully,
Yeah, so they
It
show
w- it
that
would be- it would be
Minnesota's sub looks like has opened up more for St. Louis, because I think they said somewhat, I forget the name of the player, went from the right flank to the left, and that's how Hartel was able to turn him around.
So we moved Vollum Vollum's out now. So
Zonde
the
Silva
subs,
and Simon Betcher coming in.
Yes.
so the subs we made, so early in the second half, we took it was Watts going in for Giannis Horn at the half. And so Vollum shifted over to the left, and then they subbed again and brought in Zielinski. So I'm trying to determine who's where. I actually lost track of those changes.
Well, you would
we
think
got the
Betcher
goals
would
right
take
after.
Klaus's spot, and you.
Well,
when you have
now, yeah.
Durkin coming off. You'd have Zonde Silva take his spot, play more offensive. That one goes over the net.
But I'm talking about when Zielinski. Well, no, Zielinski came in after we took the lead. I lied. Zielinski was in as a defensive sub after. So yeah, I don't know if it was the Vollum. Vollum came out after we took the lead. So Vollum on the left side because we brought in Watts to start the second half. Maybe that's what it was. Vollum and Hartle both on the left making the difference.
Yep, my left side's been good.
Yeah,
You look.
thanks
None of the
I'm glad
goals
Mo
have
brought
come
that
from
up.
the left side, but they've started on the left. Usually for Marcel Hartel, right? That possession where Timo Baumgartel got a little cross in. It was a multi-cross play. You know, you fail once, you try again twice on that left side, and you get it out to Timo Baumgartel on deflection. He sends it in, and again you score on that left side. You think about that second goal? It's a cross in from that left side. From Marcel Hartel, that is then headed by Schauklas. So that left side's been the main source of offense for you. Since Giannis Horn came out and Akil Watts took that spot on the left.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that celebration. I completely missed it celebrating myself. It looks like Santa did the Hartle celebration.
Sure
Whatever
did.
that is.
It's
I know what for his family, right? It's
one of the M3. So this is for his daughter and his wife.
Yep.
This is because he's a Dragon Ball Z guy, and this is from the anime Dragon Ball Z.
Nice.
You have to say Zed. Dragon Ball Z.
I'm not European, so I don't get to use the Z word. I've been lectured by people about that.
Yes, Zed. And also, if you watch the question, the video they had while they were asking each other the question, actually, someone else asked Hartel to do that celebration.
It was Giannis.
I think that was Horn. Yes,
it was Horn and Hartle.
Yes, but unfortunately he got sub, so it looks like Klaus took over for him. But I wouldn't be surprised if that celebration happened when Horn is on there too. But one thing that's interesting that I saw here now is if you watch, right, so Hartel now is on the left, but then Silva is on the right. So that means it looks like they're starting to feel that the flanks, the left and the right side are for the taking. So now there's two dribblers on both sides. So he has to stretch the defense.
Yeah.
And you look at, you look at the guys. I like this. You're not sitting back. You're taking out a defensive midfielder to put in Zonde Silva. I love that. You take out Chris Durkin, who's gassed. He already went down once in the game. You might as well take him out at that point, who already has a yellow card. You put in Zonde Silva, who is a defensively minded player or offensively minded player who's ready to dribble and make offensive plays. I mean, you're not parking the bus, and I like it.
It's a shape change. It looks like we're committing 3-4 guys forward. We've got to be playing more of a 3-man attack. It looks like consistently because we're now creating one-on-one matchups every time we go forward in the box. I mean, which we weren't doing.
What early. It's Betcher, Hartel, and then Teuscher. That's the top three, and then you have Zonde as playing that right midfielder spot, but he's really coming up more than a right midfielder usually would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as we now drop back
all season long.
Yeah,
give Hartel the space. He cooks.
Or that you need dribblers on the left and the right, because as they hold the ball trying to think about dribbling, that's when you get one player and then another one shows up. Now it's 2v1, and before you know it, they just lost their markers, and then and it opens the play.
So it's the 83rd minute. We don't know how much extra time's going to happen. It was already 2 goals, 1 injury. My guess would be around 4 minutes of extra time. But it's 2-1. You talk about maybe 14, maybe...
Man, what kind of connection Cody has? He's
maybe
over
12,
there.
maybe 10 minutes left.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of connection Cody has. He has all those games. He's like goals
Nashville,
alert.
yeah, again,
for every game.
He's watching the 360 version.
Is he watching?
this.
He's got to be. He's watching the Galazzo network. That's what
He
he's
is.
watching.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just using FOTMob for these updates.
But real quick, just random fun question since it's in the chat. So those who know Dragon Ball Z, if we were to do a DBZ Tifo, who gets to be a Super Saiyan? Is it Berkey or who is it?
Klaus kind of looks like one of the characters.
Klaus doesn't have enough hair.
Neither do you, Jeremy. I'll go.
Why am I getting strings all the time?
Well, you
How
can't
did I
be
do to you?
Ouch.
Well, you can't be talking either. All right. So what we're gonna talk about? Hey, it's all fun and games. Okay, it's all fun and games.
Oh boy,
Jesus! All right, back
Charlie
to
got him in the chamber. I'm sure he has a lot more waiting.
Anyways,
I probably have more. I have more than Klaus.
a little bit, yeah.
Klaus
Anyway.
is working hard to keep it.
Uh-oh.
Jeremy, remember what we have to say? Don't know. Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
But I see it now.
It's close. Oh, here's Zonde Silva.
Wait, you're early then,
Yeah, I
just-
think somehow we got ahead of you.
because I just saw
I'm at
the
80
two goal.
Yeah, I'm just at 84 with Toy Shirt putting it wide.
He almost made it. He almost had the dagger.
Look, but hold on. So let's talk about that play. Not the bad turnover. That's just
Berkey
piss
could
poor
have
defending.
waited and sat on the ball for 7 seconds if he wanted to and
But-
wasted time.
but
He says, "No, I want the dagger."
But that play right there from that quick breakout, transition to Silva, nice pass there to Toykert. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Don't love that.
I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that.
Oh my God. Is that who I think it is?
Yes, it is who you think I am. You know who we're thinking about. That just happened.
Did Kyle Hebert just get beat by Anthony Marcanic?
And he knows it. He put his kit
Yeah.
right on top of his head.
Or is it Baumgartel? It's Baumgartel.
Is that
No, it's Hebert. It's Hebert. No,
he got
that's
turned?
Zelensky. That's Zelensky.
Was it?
Zelensky got turned.
Yeah. So
Zelensky got turned up the field. Baumgartel and Zelensky both up the field watching. And of all people, it's Anthony Marcanic equalizing deep into the final 10. What goal in the 85th? So somebody just said earlier that their prediction, I forget who, it might have been Daniel, I think predicted a 2-1, or what was it? He predicted a 2-1 win with Celio getting the goal in extra and added time. But that can't happen. You cannot get burned there.
It was going to be 2-1. I was going to be right, and then Anthony Marcanic. What? Why does Anthony Marcanic have more goals than the City SC leading scorer?
he did it for us. He saved us
Yeah.
a lot of time last year. So
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Maybe Anthony Marcanic's got a vendetta against Olaf. He's like, wait, I'm gonna mess up this guy's coaching
right.
career.
All
I
right,
don't know,
so now,
but I
boys,
think more against City than
Yeah, I'm just
we've got to close this. Now we've just got to get through this, because what's going to happen now is the next 5, right? We talked about it. First 5, last 5, next 5. They now have the chance Minnesota does to put this game away if they come out and continue to build strong. So we've got to be careful here to not let them do that. And I would love to go get the winner right now. We just missed the dagger. That's 100% what happens when you miss that dagger, right? You miss your shot, it's bam, right. The next shot is a
get
goal
him,
for them.
get him.
But we've got to get this now to extra time.
You know what, people? That save right here, everybody's gonna have to apologize.
Somebody
Everybody's-
go get.
So that replay, we're gonna have to put it back, and we're going to have to tell people now you're gonna have to apologize because he just saved our asses right there.
Josh Yarrow
He just
keeps it in the game. He
Isn't
says,
it during the Manchester?
"Where's Berkey? I don't care. I'll play goalie."
Jeremy, isn't it what we were talking during the Man U game? We were like, we want our defenders to do the same
Yeah.
thing, and then he just
Yeah, that's just almost just like the Van de Ven clearance for Tottenham today.
gotta be.
That is a fantastic play by Josh Yarrow. That man,
Guys,
son of a again,
Guess who?
again. How the hell does Marcanic get a brace in the last 5 minutes?
This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
You know, there's something that keeps happening over and over and over again. You know what it is? Set piece.
What is this set piece play? What is the set piece practice? What is the corner? The corner kicks on offense have been horrible.
I don't think they're
the corner
pressed.
defense has been horrible. The free kicks have been horrible. The free kick defense has been horrible. What
Dude,
is
that's
going
a
on in
free
practice?
header.
What are they doing? What
It's
are
a
you
free
doing in
header.
practice?
He's by himself.
What in the world are you doing in practice where you cannot play set pieces?
Toykert let him go. Toykert let him go.
And
Seriously, we've heard stories of them not scoring on Fridays off set pieces offensively. They haven't scored off of a corner all year directly. No header goals off a corner all year. You let Anthony Marcanic score twice. Like what is this set piece? What is this set piece strategy?
There's none.
There is none. That is unexcusable. That cannot happen.
Oh my God!
And then he put
This
the nail
is
on the
the type of
coffin by
downfall.
celebrating.
The pain.
Oh, and so I will put it in the recording. If this is how it goes, you know what? I hate to say things like that, but I think Olaf should just pack up.
It's a $4,000 flight to Stockholm one way from Minneapolis. I said it earlier, the only player that was playing fast that first half, the only person that was moving fast was a TSA agent checking the bags of some Swedish head coach named Olaf Melberg. It could very well be his last press conference in a matter of minutes if City does not tie this and or win this.
But the question again, I'm going to point back to this. You had a lead. Is there enough positives from this?
There shouldn't be.
Him?
I would rather lose 5-0 than do what we just did.
Sorry, guys.
You're okay, Mo.
Oh. Again, I'd rather lose 5-0, get obliterated, lose 3-0 like we did to like they did to Minnesota on Saturday, than lose like this, because this is much worse. I'd rather get dominated for 90 minutes than get dominated for 5 by Anthony Marcanic and then give up a goal. Again, I'll go back to this. Okay, MG, you're saying it's Lutz's fault? 7 people on the bench when you could have 9. Okay, so you have 2 bench spots that are empty. You have no center backs on the bench. You have tired center backs. Yarrow's tired. Hebert's tired. Baumgartel's tired. You change your wing backs, it doesn't matter because Zielinski gave up a goal already. He messed up. Baumgartel messed up. You have no extra fresh legs at a defensive position. That's crazy. That's a third of your team that you're saying, well, we're gonna let them play a full 90 no matter what, because you don't put a center back on your bench.
But that's no, I'm not. This isn't a center back problem. This is the third goal. The second goal is bad defending from Zielinski. The third goal,
it was also Baumgartel though. We talked about it. Baumgartel also got turned around.
But Baumgartel wasn't the man that's supposed to be guarding Marcanic. You want your wingback making that run.
It's a systematic failure where your defense shuts down, and what do you?
No, we can't put that on defense on this one.
And the set piece marking is Toykert. I think Toykert was on Marcanic when that play started, and he just stood still.
Yeah, because he literally walked in the box by himself for a free header.
Yeah, so I'm not blaming. Like, I agree. We could have used a switch probably at center back at some point.
Yeah,
because Baumgartel didn't have the pace to recover there. But I have less of a problem with the back line on this than I do on Zielinski. There's no excuse for him being that far out of position and getting turned. It's a mental mistake, and the man marking is just poor man marking and a switch off mentally as well. This is another great example of this team not mentally playing a full 90. This team just not playing a full 90, as it looked like Is Oscar needing a link? It looks like Oscar needs the link again, Charlie, or
No,
wants to be
we
let
just
in.
have to add him, right?
Oh, there he is. Oh, no, gone back.
Somebody
And there he
removed him.
is. Hey,
Let
Oscar.
me in, people. Let me in.
We need to hear from Oscar about the
I
mentality.
was
of his
trapped in
team
jail,
leadership.
guys. I was trapped in jail.
That's where we are now. We're back.
Oh my freaking Lord. So starting from the first goal, we're up 2-1, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Why are we letting a counterattack happen? Why do we let that happen? Long ball, Marcani beat us on the back. Why? Why we're not? Hey, guess what? Use your low block that we always say we are good at. Now the corner is we don't min mark. If you guys have realized, we don't min mark on the corners. We do
Whose
zone.
fault is that?
And
Mhm.
zone is the most disgusting strategy ever for corners. If you're gonna do a
implement that
mix,
strategy?
it's different. Well,
You know who-
They have set piece experts.
They have set piece experts. You know who can say, "Well, I want to play this kind of set piece. I don't want to do zone." You know who could say that?
Who?
The head coach.
He can, but let's not
Objectively, he can.
But don't forget, in soccer, though, a lot of these guys, when you practice those set pieces, it's, the defensive coaching and all that kind of practice those.
Last chance here for City. The cross in from Berkey. He's offsides.
But you know how we got beat in some of that? There's one thing that kind of beat us on that play. You know what it is? Somebody wanted it more than the other player.
City SC, the biggest collapse of the season, maybe of the history of this club. 2 goals let up in the last 7 minutes. Embarrassing performance from St. Louis City SC. Change, hopefully, and I pray and may be coming in the front office, in the coaching staff, because this is a atomic bomb dropped on this team in the way that they just choked this game. You have a 3-1 lead, or 2-1 lead, pardon me. And not only do you let in one from Anthony Marcanic, a wingback, maybe a defensive midfielder, who also played center back for City last year, but you let up 2 from Anthony Marcanic, who has now scored more goals in professional fixtures than any City player.
I go to usually bundle on it terms and save it and more.
I mean, he's on fire. He has 4 goals in the past three games, I believe.
This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. This is going to be an interesting post-game press conference.
Hey, and I mean, I think you guys were talking about it. Obviously, I was away with the Lops, but Toicher has a wide open opportunity to finish the game, and he very lazy sends it wide. I mean, you score that goal and the game's over.
And then he was also had the unmarked man on the 3rd goal.
I mean, that's overrated. If you score that goal and it's clear option to scoring, it's done, and you can just sit back a little bit and defend.
Real quick,
But
Philadelphia.
Now you
missed
that one, and then the transition play, you let the next play go into a save from Berkey, and then the following another breakaway and scores from Marcani.
I just want to say real quick, Philadelphia beats Pittsburgh 4-1. No more USL teams left. Red Bulls Dallas games in extra time. They're waiting for extra time, actually. A great play by Emil Forsberg to save the tournament for New York Red Bulls as he scored in the 93rd minute in extra time. They'll go to extra time. DC United and Charlotte will go to extra time. And then Nashville looks like they're going to close it out against Orlando after a 79th minute Wyatt Meyer goal, the left back, 23-year-old American left back for Nashville SC. This, I can say, since I've been involved in City, which was from the second season and on, this is the worst loss I've seen from City SC. Maybe the worst loss of the tournament.
Nah, I mean,
I'd rather get dominated.
I mean, we're all mad because you had a game almost in the bag, right? For what was the goal? 85th minute.
85th. You were 5 minutes in stoppage, so you were 10. You were 9 total minutes away from moving on.
So I get it. I mean, I'm pissed off too, but also we all were asking about having games like this, having chances in the front, trying to score, and going back to back, because we talk about it on Monday, right? That we would prefer games like this. So, hey, we talk and we brought it too much about it. Yes, it's not an excuse. It's not good enough. They were showing a little more life, but at the same time, there is a lack of a strategy. There is a lack of adapting to the game situations, because you have 5 minutes to finish the game and you're getting wide open on the back. That's nonsense.
I'll say this,
nonsense.
Oscar, we talked about it on Monday. This is the type of game you want to see City play in the final score. You want to see City score. You want to see City be competitive, and you want to see City score multiple goals, right? But in no way, shape, or form did we call for a complete collapse in the last 9 minutes of the game. You hope for a 3-2 score, to be a close game throughout, to be a game where you feel like it's back and forth, not a game where you're leading 2-1 with 9 minutes left in the 85th minute and you give up a brace to a defensive player. That in no way, shape, or form is soccer that is going to win you games, soccer that is going to bring fans to a stadium, nor is that soccer that is going to make you get into the playoffs, as promised by Carolyn Kindle and Diego Gigliani and Lutz Pfannenstiel and Olaf Melberg prematurely in December. Like, that is not the type of soccer you have to play, and I think it is downright. I don't know. There's a lot of things.
So I just watched the replays with the last first goal from Markenik. So it looks like first, was it Durkin that got turned first? Mm-hmm. And then Zielinski got turned second. You cannot get two players turned at once. That was pretty much like the first no. And then the second one, Markenik just literally walked in the box.
Yeah.
And then jumped up.
Why do you have Timo Baumgartel doing the first post and not the center of the field? If you are on a zone marking, you have your tallest and technically stronger defender facing the middle of the box. Who was marking that zone? Sunday and Jaro.
But what happened?
Like Jaro is behind it. Like Jaro is not like really on that zone. What Zande was in that zone. But the issue with zone marking on corners is that you do not have time of what you are about to say. Mo, touch, grab.
Yeah.
Because
hug them. Do something.
You're not on them. You're letting them free run because you're defending still in your zone.
But I think that's what it looks like. A free header like this is because you are keeping your, like you said, your zone. You're not marking the player. That's why there's no hugs. There, like every corner kick, the referee should come in the middle and say, "Guys, stop fighting." There was none of that. Dude got a free kick. He got his corner kick. The ball was in the air. Marketing did 2 steps, jump, free header. So we literally got beat by a guy that wanted it to win against his former team more than the team that he was trying to beat. Because he's a switchback. He scored those 2 goals by why? Making runs and getting himself open.
So
now he's gonna smile.
Yeah. So the equalizing goal, they have 17 plays a ball through, literally right between Chris Durkin, who is running back towards his own goal, and Akil Watts, who is flat-footed facing the Minnesota goal. The ball goes between both of them, so they're now quickly trying to chase, and then he takes a one-touch around. No, that's not Durkin. That's Ostrak. Ostrak
it was
replaced Durkin. It was Ostrak. So Ostrak gets beat. He plays it into space around the referee, and then just plays the ball wide on a long ball to Marcanic, who had gotten in behind Zelensky, who was ball watching. Baumgartel had been turned sprinting back into position, and it was literally just a slotted shot that nobody could get back to block.
So are people going to tell me?
So no, you're fine, Mo. But I don't know that they have. Did they have an opportunity to foul though?
No, he had. He had.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Do you take?
I mean, if Jaro had an opportunity to foul, then yeah. See this one.
I don't think Yarrow was. I don't think Yarrow was close enough.
Oh no, he's talking about previous games.
Oh yeah.
We're playing devil advocate.
Oh yeah,
guys. Real quick.
Bad comments that they all drill.
I'm going online.
And it was like
real quick.
We're like, what, Charlie?
Make sure to tune in about 5 minutes. Me and Jeremy to head out, go to the Zoom press conference. Make sure to tune in to YouTube.
Oh, I thought you needed your bottle again.
For the post game press conference. Me and Jeremy gonna ask questions. Tom Timmerman, a lot of great journalists gonna ask a lot of good questions. And if you have questions yourself that you think should be answered, you may get those answers. So make sure to tune into the City SC YouTube in a bit.
Real quick though, looking at that too, Zelensky, when the ball got passed, he tried to play the ball. He didn't keep running back with Marcanic. That's also what created that gap. He turned and tried to stop the ball, but couldn't get a foot to it. And by that point, Marcanic had burned him. And he couldn't close down the speed. So I don't know. That it's just poor defending. Zelensky got burned. It's a shame because a lot of people have been wanting to see more minutes from him, but he didn't do himself any favors with that performance tonight. It looks like Cody wants to know if you guys are going to hang on and stay out, or if you guys are going to wrap up.
I don't know. Oscar, I'm not going to go on the presser, so I don't know if you.
Yeah, want. I'm not.
You guys can react to the presser if you want.
Yeah. You want to do that? I can stay on.
I don't think they'll stream it live though, because they normally don't stream these live.
Why? Usually
they don't. The home games they stream. Away games they don't ever really stream.
That's so
and normally that's because the away matches they're on a time constraint to get back out of the stadium to get on a flight or something. So they'll normally they'll record the away matches and then post them onto YouTube later in the evening or tomorrow morning. Normally,
hopefully that isn't the only thing they're posting tomorrow morning.
I think
I just rewind it because I'm looking.
Yeah.
Again, and Twitcher had like a week to settle and finish the ball, and then the exactly next play they score on.
But there's also the one part that it's we're not finishing games. We're not playing smart on those, because what I would have expected, especially if we were, we were leading. Right. So that's where you start your crazy tactics of winding down the time, right? Run to the corners. Somebody touches you, you fall, and like you get shot. All of these crazy things that we do to kind of kill the game. We're not doing so. All
right. I am gonna drop and head to the press conference, gentlemen. Okay. If you guys are back still on when we're done, let us know. But and we'll pop back on.
Oscar,
I'll post quotes, guys. Check my X. Check my X, y'all. I'll post live quotes to responses and Olaf Melberg quotes. Okay, so people can know. Adios. Be right back.
All right, we'll see you.
Okay.
So should we try to double team the presser?
Yeah, it's fine. So they play out of the back. Quick pass goes to the middle. So in that pass, we got beat 4 players already out behind the ball line. Ostrak and Watts are bad in positioning, one man behind them. Next pass breaks them. Ostrak tries to get back in position. There is a moment that he could make a foul for the famous sake of make a foul, right?
Take a yellow.
It's right in the middle. I'm gonna turn my computer so people can see the
We
exact
apologize,
moment.
Paramount.
You see it right there?
Oh, sure can. Just lift it just a little bit up so that way when the pass goes up, there you go.
Right? So he is in contact with the player on the ball.
Yeah, right there. Knock him because you
Knock
see
him.
how
Grab
he's
him.
he's looking
we're in
at
bad
he's looking at
position.
mechanic too, right?
Yeah, I mean
Both of them are.
And so Markanek is ready to go, and Zelensky is not.
Yep.
Zelensky is ball watching what's happening. Timo, I don't know why he stepped up so quick. We are the 4 in the back. We're almost in the second third of the field. And then, so there were 3 passes. They broke us in 3 passes.
Yeah, and Markanek was like, it's time for payback.
Jesus.
CK needs Diego Lutz and beat us.
Mm.
I don't know that right now. I don't know if that's gonna happen as such. But someone will have to get fired to at least for the others to save face. That's the way I see it, pretty much on that. Someone's gonna have to take the fall. And usually you know who that is. But so where do we go from there, Oscar? Because this is like everybody was on the high of the 2-1, and then Tuchel misses that open opportunity, and then it looks like they either like, here we go again, we're missing our chances, or it was more of a Minnesota that's like, you know what, we still have 10 minutes to play. Let's just throw everything we can and see what sticks.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to the same point of all the conversations that we have had this week and last week's about, hey, Bradley Cornell got fired for less.
A lot less.
Because now you're going through this and say like, well, it was the problems of we are dropping points in winning positions and we're not winning, and it's kind of like the same issue, but now they're worse. Like it's not even comparable, I guess. Like we now, hey, we play a good game until the 70th minute or
Again.
86 minute now. So we advance. We improve in 5-10 minutes. But if you look, the last 10 minutes were a disaster. Berkey saved 2. Jado saves one in the line.
And there's one thing that keeps coming back again and again and again. Do you get the feeling that when there's a Becher Klaus sub, that the midfield pretty much breaks down a lot more? Because Becher stays a lot more up. He does not track back, but Klaus does come back in the middle to kind of initiate the play. Because it looks like I'm starting to feel like there's that one disconnect in the midfield, that the moment there's a sub, it's either we're losing a player in the midfield or we're completely missing the connection from defense, midfield, and offense. Because you saw, right? Most likely Klaus would have probably be in the middle if he was there still, because he runs back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand the subbing your center forward all the time.
Yeah, unless you say he's
It's
exhausted, but he didn't look like it.
I mean, it's scoring or not. It's scoring or not. I don't
He's
understand it.
scoring.
I have a philosophy of my number 9 and my 2 center backs when I play with 2 center backs are the ones to stay the entire game. I do not change them unless something like extremely happens. Like my center forward, one, because my center forward always needs confidence and needs minutes and it needs opportunities to score. So like if he's having a bad time, you have to give him that option to get back into it. If you keep subbing him, he's never gonna do that. And then if your center backs, because you need that pair to be connected, to have good connection between each other, good relationship, knowing where they go, how they move, how they close together, things like that. So we do that a little bit on the center back because we
Don't have
are
a choice.
forced to,
Yes.
because we don't have anybody else. But the forward is just, I still don't understand. Every time it has happened, what 1 minute Klaus would south against Kansas City, and what happened after? We got scored twice.
It went down from there. Yep.
And then obviously let's not count the past Minnesota game because we just got destroyed the entire game. So that doesn't give any explanation in that one. And also, well, Klaus wasn't playing.
So can you see much? Is it too small by any chance?
If I put it on, no, if
Let's
I
see.
put it all full screen, I can read them.
Yeah, because it looks like Charlie's putting some of from the presser. And it looks like, see, this is 4 minutes, so 15 seconds. Yeah. So it looks like the first thing that came from Olaf was, disappointing. I'm going to have to analyze it. 2 late goals to see what happened there. Well, you don't really have to analyze what happened in those 2 late goals. It's pretty self-evident. Quite simple.
So I mean, I wish, let's see if they can actually, I don't want to get him in trouble, but I would love to any of them say to Olaf, do you think on resigning?
Ooh, I don't, that's
I mean, but I have heard that before. I have heard
Yeah.
many presses. Would you think of stepping aside because the team's not doing anything, whatever you were supposed to be doing, you're not doing it? Are you gonna wait until you get fired, or you would consider step aside because you're not delivering what you need to deliver?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember a coach that have done that. I probably cannot remember, but that typically happens to like former players that become coaches and they do such a bad job, then they have so much pride for the team that they walk away. But in these days, I can't really tell a coach that stepped down.
I couldn't.
People would make
it would be
decisions.
hard to remember, but I know I've seen it before.
Yeah, because that typically happens to like some that have like deep root to a club. You know what?
Yeah,
I don't. No,
I know.
can't.
Like, in Colombia has happened quite a few times that they go to the press conference and it's just like, I am stepping aside.
Yeah, it takes a different type of coach to do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I have feeling like now he's just here for the check. I mean, if you're gonna say that you have to analyze something that just happened in front of your eyes, I mean,
Yeah,
you're the coach. You're supposed to be watching the game and realizing what's happening on the field, not going and every time that he goes to the press conferences. I need to analyze it. I need to know what happened on that. Like, really?
no, now at this moment you pretty much have to. You have to be straight up with not only the fans but also the players. because I mean, yeah, I've not seen any coaches these days do that. Um, but we've been around when coach teams switches coaches often, right? Because they have different expectations. Now my question will be: when they had him come, did they had the expectation in front of everybody was to make the playoffs? But were those also internal playoff discussions? And we all know, Carnell says, "Hey, we have a block of 5 games that we analyze our games, right?" We're not really sure, how does he determine how the team is doing and if there are changes needed or not.
Yeah.
Too
I have
secretive.
another problem. Like I was just rewatching a little bit,
Yeah.
and I realized like the third goal is lead off on loss of the ball by Sunday in the midfield. He turns it over. They go in a quick counter. Then Jaro saves the goal. Corner. They score. So obviously a lot happened. But if we keep possession, that doesn't happen, right?
Yep.
But we also put in Sunday on the midfield again. Sunday on the midfield. Center mid.
Yeah, we talked about that one many times.
So
That's not it.
why? Why are we doing this? Why are
we?
we doing? Because this is not the first time Sunday loses the ball in the midfield like that.
Yeah.
And yes, he should be better with the ball and protect the ball better, but it's also not his strong position. If you're putting him on a position where he's gonna receive with 3 guys on the back and trying to turn, is a lot more pressure. You have to play faster. You have to release the ball more accurately.
And you have to know who's around you.
You don't have the time. Like you don't have the time as when you're a winger. Because when you're a winger, you receive the ball and you normally are wide with space.
Yeah, and you're just...
He's not used to that. Yeah, he's not used to that. So there is the point of you put him in a freaking bad positioning, forcing him to do that, and then we have people that they were, for example, like criticizing Alfredo when he was in there, that he normally he doesn't make those mistakes. He was making some. I mean, I get it. People aren't. You're not perfect, but his release of the ball and this way he was a lot better because he knows where he plays. He plays in a 6 that you always gonna have pressure right on the back.
Yep.
Right.
And that's why the players that we had that are no longer here, that was their forte. Yeah, and it looks like there's a few more.
If Tom's around still, Mr. Sami, yes, Kijima. He was one that he's been learning a lot, and you've seen him play. And Kijima has been very clean on his playing, on his.
He was one of
distribution.
Yeah, he's a brighting star at DC United. One of the few to talk about. So I think that's mainly the part that we're missing. I think we'd say it in every show that we go on. Our biggest thing is the midfield. It's a mess. And they do not, well, the ones that are available are not really playing in defensive roles as you would say. Right? So if you watch the previous 2 years or so, yes, and how that's a good question, Tom. We think we would love to know what happens to all of our players that tend to break so often.
Is there anything else on the press? I hope they're asking where is Kessler? Where is
they probably will ask later. I see the last one was Charlie put in that Olaf said we changed around a little bit. We were not happy at all with defending set pieces. Yeah. So we changed things around a little bit and we looked really solid. Olaf speak on the set piece strategy change to a zone defense. That we did not look solid.
No, I mean we don't look solid 90 minutes, and you have to play 90 minutes to win games.
Yeah, and most of the goals we've conceded were in set pieces. So Kijima back on the dumpster. But and that's the part that we always say, right? We have the technical players that can make the magic happen, right? But you also need players that are less skillful, but that are willing to do the dirty work during the game. Morales was brought in for that. Unfortunately, he got injured, so he cannot do that work. But then who else do we have on the bench that's able to do that? Because I
I mean, at
cannot
this point,
say.
we don't have anybody.
Yeah. But CD2 does have some of those guys that they may not be the preferred or play the full 90 minutes, but I can guarantee you that probably for those last 20 minutes that we all fall asleep at, that if you add them, they might have a little bit of burst of energy to show us what they have.
Yeah.
McSorley could. Perez could. There's plenty of and if they have to be flexible, take some of those kids that are still, learning in quote, and turn them into the CDM that you need for the time being. That's how Miguel Perez was for the first season. I was told he was just a center midfielder when they got him as a homegrown, and they turned him into a CDM because he was aggressive. So maybe that's the time that we have to do the same thing.
I mean,
Hey, but Tom, the score could have been a lot worse if Josh would have not saved it on the white line. And I believe when Watts came in, that's when there was more fluid and that we scored those 2 goals. So who are the other people that we have to blame today?
Yeah, I mean, there's no fault on those two. There's no on those two. I mean, they're the easier to blame because they're the lowest name players. But I mean, it feels the same way that we did the LAFC game. Like it's at the point like we had it. I mean, it's 5 minutes. With actually performing well, like a lot better than we were performing against LAFC. They were actually played on the front foot, and now you're not smart enough to close a game. And it goes with the players, but also your coach needs to react to those situations. Like you just went into you save a goal because Berkey saves a goal, sends a long ball, counter attack, great. Missed the goal that could have finished the game.
Yeah, there's so many.
Get back, but get back. Like get back, right? Like get settled on your defensive block. Now, finally, you can use that defensive block for a reason. But no, like we kept the game stretched. We told Minnesota coming at it that we leave him spaces behind. We left space behind the last 5 minutes like 6 times.
Not how you close the game.
No, but that's I mean, that's coaching. That's coaching. I get your players should know. Your players should react a little bit better, read the game a little bit better. But if your coach telling you keep going, then I don't know. I mean, is it blame for both? But at the same time, it's the lack of confidence, instructions, coaching. It just I don't see it. I don't see a change there. I don't see where we will go and actually start winning games because every team's gonna come at us and say like, "Hey, we can still go at him at the 85 minute and score 3 goals." Right?
Sure did.
And then our team is gonna be more beat up now because this is the fourth time we lose a game like this, or lose points, or lose the advantage that we had in the last 10-15 minutes. So
And against
now
a play.
think of demoralizing for this team. This team is gonna be, if we thought we hit bottom already, we found a new bottom.
Oh, this. I think now this is going to be the strategy for every team. Now it's going to be like, hey, if they don't destroy us for the next 70 minutes, we have the game in the bag. And it was not the strongest Minnesota team that we play against. But
no, they were very slow today, especially in that lapse that City had the ball. Like they were, I don't know, like they came out hard in the second half and then like kind of like sit back. I don't know if for virtue of City taking the ball and taking the reins of the game, but we also know that Minnesota is good in the counterattack because that's how they beat Miami 4-1. They gave the ball to Miami and they knew when their transition was good in transitioning, and that's what they did.
well,
And
then
also set pieces.
and then that's when the coach figures that out, or the staff that have tablets. They have tablets that they watch the game and do the replays during the game. Maybe they should have figured that out, that there was a change of transition, because clearly we were beating them on the left side. So
Yeah.
I didn't understand why didn't you just keep going. Hartel was having a fun time there, so keep doing the exact same thing
Because that's his
until it
spot.
stop you. And to close out the game, there's tactics to close out the game. But now I would like to. So now the problem is that the team that's saying that we have to take it easy? Oh, I guess I'll add Charlie.
So, just came back from the press conference. A couple notes, I'll say. I live tweeted a lot of the answers. I'll say a couple of them real quick. Am I interrupting a conversation?
Nope.
We were just going to kick you out of the chat. That's all.
So, a couple things that I heard. So, Roman Berkey first said, yeah, so I always in these situations, you start best when you look at yourself first. I probably could have saved the first Anthony goal from that angle. I kind of blame myself there. We have to be more hungry to win these games. That was him talking about the loss. Another quote from Roman would be, talking about what the fans to keep their morale up. He said, I asked about how the fans, if he had one thing to say to the fans, his answer was, there's a lot going on that they don't see. He then said, we really do care. If we keep working, keep believing, the luck will come to us. That's what he said there. Another one he said is, something is blocking us. Another one he said was, at one point, it's enough talk. We need to bring actions. Olaf Melberg had a lot of good quotes that puzzled me a little bit, including...
Hold on, before you keep going.
Uh-oh.
Before you get going, because that for me, I mean, I laugh because that for me is stupid. Really, Berkey, a lot of going on that we don't know? Well, shit.
He said,
you guys play. You're on a professional team. Yeah, of course we don't know what's happening inside your doors, but we also know that you're not responding according to what you're supposed to do as a team. You're not responding in the field, and you're not responding off the field. So don't come and say to the fans like we don't know what's happening. We're doing our part.
Yeah. Roman Berkey's quotes were those, and I'll get off with Olaf Melberg. He had a lot of good ones here. He said, yeah, disappointing in regards to the game outcome. I asked about the 2 late goals, and if someone asked about the 2 late goals, I believe it was Tom Timmerman who asked about it, and he says, "I'm gonna have to analyze it to see what happened there." So no immediate response after the game as an explanation for those goals. He says he's gonna go watch film and then talk about it. Apparently, he says about those goals again. He says they're goals. I'll have to look at it again, and then he said it's a puzzle, and we haven't succeeded in the puzzle yet. He talked about that in winning in the last 20 minutes. And then he talked about that zonal play in the set piece strategy, switching from a man to a zone play. We changed around a little bit. We were not happy at all with the defending set pieces, so we changed things around a little bit, and we looked really, really solid. That's what he said about the set pieces. And then I talked about what happened the pace. Didn't look like it. And then I asked from the pace, when you score the 2 goals, everyone's hopping, the pace is up. And I asked what happened going from that to then giving up 2 goals to a former City player. He said, at that moment, we had a really good period. We were really close to getting the 3rd goal. But yeah, not happy, obviously. And then one thing he says, yeah, I think so. I'll have to look at it. That was him. That was him responding to someone asking if there were any positives to the game. So a lot of indirect answers and nothing saying from Olaf Melberg that saying exactly what happened on the goal. He says he's going to go look at it in film, as if he didn't watch the game.
Oh, and by the way, we
were touching that. Yeah,
we did not give Mark Hennig. He took that from us.
Oh yeah.
He whooped City by himself. That is the perfect example of a player that got traded to another team. He had something to prove, and he did it in the best fashion you can do, is to beat the team. And guess what? He went and celebrated like he won the World Cup. That tells you how much he wanted to beat that team. That was the exact same thing that happened with City. You are leading 2-1, right? Act like it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. No, you're 100% right. A couple other things, by the way, that Melberg talked about. I asked him about the bench selection and not having center backs, because that was something we talked about, right? The selection on his bench. And he said it wasn't a re-aggravation of an injury from Kessler or Nilsson. Nilsson's still dealing with the knee, is just not ready. And Kessler basically doesn't feel ready yet. He did play a few games ago, came back, but he said he just is not feeling ready. And so they're being cautious with Henry Kessler. So that's why we did not see a center back on the bench. Apparently there's no one else that I guess he rates, but he didn't speak to who he rates. The other thing he said that jumped out at me too, Charlie, was he said, I don't think you see a team that looks beaten when we play. It's just something that we have to continue to believe that we can turn things around. So I thought those were a couple of interesting takeaways. Olaf did not seem like a coach who thought he was on the way out. Or maybe to Ryan's point, maybe he's just accepted it and was just going through the motions. But
I'll say here, one thing that I saw,
yeah,
these quotes are indicative of someone who is either going to talk about these quotes or talk about the things he saw in a pre-game press conference, or he's never going to talk about them. And the reason because he says he's going to watch it later, right?
What
if he doesn't have the chance to watch it later and he's gone tomorrow morning, right?
No,
then we're never going to get the answer to the questions.
This is not the first time he says that, and that drives me insane, because we were touching this point with Mo when you guys were still in the press conference, because Mo pulled up your X, you were putting some of the answers there, and I was like, you're the coach. You're supposed to be watching the game. You're supposed to be knowing what's happening on the field. Why is your response, I have to go watch it?
They have the assistant coaches have tablets on the sideline, and before every player goes on the field, they are shown tape or they're shown a piece of paper that says how the progression happened, the heat maps, everything during a game is shown. That's why they have these small tablets in front of them. That's how they have the replays. That part, I probably won't buy it. I might be a little bit on candy on that part for just a little bit. For me, the injuries now, it's getting a little bit too old for me. I understand some, you got to take it easy and slow down for some injuries. But I can tell you, we've seen other players, and one of them I can say from another team, his name is Suarez, and he's old as dirt. He gets shots. He gets a whole bunch of things on his legs or something for some time to just play those 25 minutes. Right? I understand, they have all these things that they have to look out. But at this moment, if the injuries are that bad, then we should give some of the other player opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting these guys that are in defense at this moment, what the Josh Herbert and all that, they're playing so many minutes that they have not played previously without having a break, right? And then our style of play is that we have to play from the back, so that means our defense gets a lot of the ball at the same time. What we need to do is, just like my tweet says, right? Maybe we should be playing up top a lot more so you can kind of let these guys in the middle and in defense to kind of recover, put themselves back to place to be ready to get another round of onslaught.
I'll say this, guys. With Roman Berkey saying, he literally said it's unexplainable what's going on here. At
He's
this
about
rate,
to roast the team.
I was on the fence of asking about him re-signing, but I know that he wouldn't give me an answer on that one. And I know that Cash wouldn't like that because he'd be talking about stuff that you're not supposed to talk about, contract stuff in the players conferences. But I want to know the free agent, the people who are fans want to know. Because if I'm Roman Berkey, I want to get as far away as St. Louis City SC as possible because of the way this team is playing.
I don't know.
I don't know. The way that he said it's literally unexplainable. Unexplainable. What's happening here?
You want me to translate you what that means?
We're horrible?
No. That means he's about to turn around and go in the locker room and give a speech that people will not enjoy.
Well,
that's the one that I've been in a lot of locker rooms. That's the part where you're so pissed off at this moment that you do not want to say anything to call out any of your teammates or the coach or anyone. You will keep that behind closed door, which they have done well. Because we know when Berkey wants to criticize, he will criticize you on camera. Yeah. So I think that part is something's going to happen. What I would need to see is some of these guys show up and kind of shows a little bit more of the anger that everybody has.
Hey guys,
Mo is talking bad.
Yeah,
negatively.
Mo, real quick, I have to go. I'm gonna meet with some people. I'm gonna talk about some things. And we'll see what happens. I might post an article in the morning. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't
from TSC though, right?
I'm not going. No, I'm not going to. Of course not. But I am gonna leave right now. I do need to talk to some people that I know.
Hey, Stroud just missed the PK.
Oh. Hey, I was trying to say we want him back, so you're gonna mess it up for me.
And so, guys, I would not be surprised. I'll be up at the crack of dawn, and if anything happens, any changes happens, I will be there to report. I doubt, and I'll kick myself if I'm late on something breaking news, but I doubt I will be. So keep posted on my X, keep posted on other people's X. Something may come.
I don't think we're going to hear anything. I think Cash said they're flying back tomorrow. It sounded like, if I heard that right at the end of the press conference. So I don't think you're going to hear anything till mid-morning, early afternoon, depending on what time their flight leaves.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
They're doing actually a joint practice with some City 2 guys in Minnesota, they said.
Mm-hmm. Which
so
I still
probably
don't.
Flying back, because are they going to come back to St. Louis before the Colorado game, or are they staying up there?
I presume they're flying back to St. Louis and then
on
doing
Friday.
They had 2 games in Minnesota and they flew back for some reason.
Yeah.
So staying for Thursday practice instead of just flying straight back. That's really weird.
No, I think they're flying back in the morning, doing regen work here in St. Louis, and then they're going to do the press conference, like he said, sometime tomorrow. The time will be flexible depending on the flight and things. So press conference standby. It might not be at noon or 12:30. We'll see.
We'll see if there's multiple planes leaving that airport and where they're going.
Yeah, well, somehow we'll get tail numbers.
All right, have a good one, y'all.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yep.
But real quick, I do think it's interesting something Melberg pointed to, because we talked about the team's mental ability, right, and staying focused, and that idea of like a 90-minute player and all of those things. And Tom Timmerman, credit him from the Post-Dispatch, did ask, what is it a mental thing in the last 20 minutes? And he said, I think, Olaf, quote, I think there are other explanations. I think we should be able to get through the games. There have been quite a few now where we've lost points in different ways, but too many games now where we've had the lead and just haven't been able to push through to the end. But he did say he sees progress again, right? But
There's no
your
progress.
thoughts? He sees progress. Your thoughts?
I think the team found something today, but I don't think it was because of him. I think it was more because of the players wanting something. Because I think like the second half, like players realize like, hey, if we don't wake up, if we don't do things on our own, we're just gonna be a disaster another game in a row. Because I don't think he really changed much on anything for that second half. I think the only thing he did was put Watts for Horn, and I'm assuming it was more because of managing minutes with Horn. So I think that the team itself might have something to be proud. The way that they found some ways to be aggressive and dangerous. But then after that, I mean, we're progressive. No, you still conceded 2 goals in the last 5 minutes. You're still conceding goals on set pieces. You're still conceding breakaways. You are still bad in transition because we were able to attack because Minnesota sat back a little bit. I do not see progress.
Maybe I shouldn't be watching the chat.
Which one you're watching?
Twitter.
I haven't seen.
I was
Twitter.
looking at the Discord, but I don't
I
know
don't
people are
go
talking.
to Discord things.
I mean, I've seen if the problem is there's too many Discord. So if it's the official team Discord, I'll have to look at it.
I have that one, but not the others.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anything going crazy. Let me look, and I haven't looked. But in any event, guys, I think the hard part is we've been so down bad and so disappointed in this season that we're going to see goals as progress. And outside of, I don't know, let's say a 20-minute period, wasn't impressed. And I wasn't impressed with our inability to close out a game. I know this game doesn't include points, but we were already at like 10 points dropped on the season, which is almost half of where we were. And Ryan, I get that, but injuries happen. But man, dude, when you are rolling out the same back 3, 4 or 5 games in a row, especially for midweek games, I do have to be a little sympathetic. If I go right now and run, there's no way I'm doing it tomorrow, let alone 3 days from now. I can tell you that much. So I sure as hell wouldn't want to be Yarrow or Baumgartel or Hebert tonight. I mean, this is like the 3rd game in a row, at least probably for Yarrow, of going a full 90. So I am a little sympathetic to him and to Olaf, but at the same time, you have to have expectations. Go ahead.
As a former, I guess, defender, we'll say, if you look at a majority of the teams that you say have great defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see them actually being in action as of like defending, running with their opponent players for 90 minutes?
No, because they're in those situations, they're not the ones responsible for progressing the ball. That's where that's the problem we have is we put too much on our center backs that they shouldn't have to do. They should not be the start. They start the attack technically because they link to the midfield, but the midfield should be progressing the ball, not our center backs.
And then there's the position where each player have their own roles and, the things that they do well, right?
Yep.
That's why King Kessler was, when he was our center back, he's more calculated. He has a better view of the entire field, so he's able to progress it and put the ball to our midfielders to move forward, right? We know
Yep.
Josh is the quickest of our center back. You can quote me on that. He's faster than all of our center backs. That's why he was able to put with the faster players. But now you put him in center back because everybody else is injured. So you're asking him to do extra stuff. Hilberg, we're putting him everywhere except to where we got him for, right?
Yeah.
As long as your defense has to do that much work repetitively, and if we look at maybe the stats, it will show you how many times they have the ball at their feet and how many times they actually kick the offense.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually unheard of.
Yeah.
And if you want to show other players that, from other leagues, what does Caicedo from Chelsea does? He's a midfielder, right? He runs all the way to your center back. He takes the ball from them and he progresses the ball all the way up. What does Messi does? He waits for the ball to come to him, or he comes towards the ball, takes it, carry it up, and play with his forwards, right?
Yeah.
Who do we have at City that can, in the midfield, that can take the ball from our center back or right back or left back, carry the ball up, and then distribute it for the offense? Who in this team can do that at this moment?
Well, last year it was Edu Leuven.
But he's not here, so who else?
But he's not here. So is Dirk? I mean, is it supposed to be Durkin or Ostrak? Those are the two.
I think Ostrak might be more because Durkin is more of the aggressive guy, right? So he's going to be the bully to take the ball.
But he came on as a sub. So who did we play? We played Durkin. We played JGR. JGR isn't going to be that guy.
No.
He gets subbed out. We bring in Ostrak, and then that's when we started becoming more aggressive in the attack. But to your point, we don't have that. We're building out through the wings. We're building out to Hartle. We're building out to, I don't know, Silva, Toyshirt on the right, whoever. And that's part of it. But yeah, I'm with you. We don't have.
So that's the point I'll try to tell people. Yes, our defenders are not doing a great job. Sorry, guys, there are third and fourth string defenders. They're not supposed to be our main guys. Kessler is supposed to be, wow, he's been missing so many times I forgot. Nielsen's supposed to be, but where are they?
Well, right? Nielsen's hurt. I think he's missed almost 80 games now across all competitions.
And he's a DP, right?
No, he's a TAM. He's TAM. He's max TAM. So he's making max money you can make, but he's just doesn't. But he needs to go. We need to buy him out.
So that's the point where they always see the end product or end result of an action that result into a goal, or use the stats for. Maybe I'm go on a little bit of rant on this one. Is that a lot of people realize way too much on stats, on colors and percentage, and that's how they determine how someone plays so badly.
No, you're 100% right. Stats, yeah.
Who in the midfield take the ball from the defense and go and progress the ball? I want to hear, someone tell me who can do that, because we're not scoring any goals unless Hartel makes something magical.
No, well, and again, I said
it goes on the system. It goes on the system, guys. Like, we go back to the same thing. We're dependent on the two center mids, defensive center mids, because we basically play with two. Because we're lying and we're saying that one is a 6 and one is an 8. Like they both try to play an 8 and they both try to play a 6. Whoever is in there, JGR, Ostrak, Watts, Alfredo, anybody, like they're all a mix of it. But we're depending on those players to create our momentum instead of having they're not creative. Exactly. Yeah. No. So it's our system. It's our system. I play the 6 for almost all my life. And I'll tell you, I was not creative. I was not the man to create. I was the man to destroy and pass it. Destroy, pass it.
And that's why we did the first season, right? That's when we had
Yep.
Bloom, we had Miggy that did that. And then we had Vasilev that did that. We had Strout that did that.
Well-
and then later on, we had Kijima that did that, right? So
Well-
those guys were the runners.
Yeah, well, and that was the system though, because we knew we had 2 6s playing because we played a 4-2-3-1. We had 3 creative guys, or who were supposed to be creative, underneath our striker that could make those runs and play in those spaces. And so it's to your point, it's just that.
Give me the ball. I'll take care of it. I'll
Yeah.
progress it up and we'll make it happen. You
Um,
come back, recover,
mhm.
talk to your goalkeeper who's going to tell you what's happening. Look to your left, look to your right, compose yourself back because there will be another run coming out to you.
So I want to ask you guys both this question because I was talking about it at halftime with Charlie a little bit as well. And again, it goes back to the reliance on the crosses. So in the first half, we had 9 touches in the box in the in the penalty area that we were attacking. We finished the game with just 16 touches. So we entered the final third, according to SofaScore. We entered the attacking third 64 times, but only got 16 touches in the box. Is that enough to be successful in the offensive third? Like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do you think having touches in the box is a good indicator of how successful you are at building up in the final third?
No.
Okay.
Now, at least for me, no. Because I would think that once you get in the final third is one touch to settle yourself and shoot it on goal, or shoot it on goal one touch. Outside the box is where you should be seeing the heat map of the more touches and passes, but not in the box.
Okay.
Because that's where your strikers should see it. If they feel the line, they see the net, or they feel the goalkeeper is close, that's where you should take your opportunities. That's why it happens the previous game where Tuchel took the shot, right? And he had an ugly bounce and it went in. If you don't take those shots, it does not happen. You should have less touches in the box. Because if you have so much, it's because you're hesitating or you're trying to get a PK. And we don't get many of those.
I don't know. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna eat my dinner and watch someone fighting on the TV over here. In Houston.
In soccer, fighting?
Entertaining. Yeah, finally. We don't see it in our games.
Yeah.
But no, the last thing I want to say, so like I was looking at the substitutions and go back to the same we were, I think, before Charlie and Jeremy jumped in back. So it was Ostrak in for Wallem, Zielinski for JGR, and then that I don't understand those already. Then Betcher for Klaus, and Sander for Durkin. So the first two, I get bringing Ostrak. I don't get getting Wallem out.
Unless they ask to go out.
But I mean, one of your best players cannot be asking you out, and Wallem has not have any fitness issues or any injury issues that we know. So I don't understand that one in that perspective. Just keep Wallem and get get JGR out and put Ostrak, right? Sounds like more men-to-men, refreshing the midfield. Not digging on Zielinski. The second goal is on him, but not gonna dig on it. It was a quick breakaway. He read the play wrong and tried to cut the pass instead of like running along, but it happens. And the
Go
one
ahead.
that obviously marks me the most, well, these two marks me the most is Simon Becher for Klaus. When you're having a strong game from your number 9, why do you need to change him? Every time that you're taking Klaus off, you're giving so much freedom to their defenders. Whoever it is, whoever the other team is, they're having so much freedom not to play because now Becher's different. We thought like he was like the bull that he likes to chomp on people. He hasn't chomped on anybody. He keeps missing goals in front of the net. Anyways, I don't understand why you're getting Klaus. And the last one, Sunday for Durkin. Sunday Silva, known as a right winger, left winger, or center forward, subbing in for a defensive centerman. What is in your mind when you're putting a center forward, a possible center forward, you put it on the freaking center of the field to save a lead?
So I don't. Here's what I would say. I think I'm going to go back and look at it. And Olaf did not address it, but I do think they changed shapes. I think they switched to a back 4 when Zelensky came in, because it looked to me like they were trying to play a 4-back, like a 4-3-3 is what it looked like to me, with Zonde playing a more right-sided midfielder or right winger, because that's what it looked like to me, and why we didn't have that extra coverage in that center back role, because it looked like we slid over. Because I was looking back at the lineup after that, I don't know who would have been playing left back. So the only thing I could think of is, did we switch to a 4-back? Zelensky is the right back, Baumgartel and Yarrow as your center backs, Hebert as your left back, and play a flat 4. That's what it looks like happened to me, and then they just got burned. But I could be wrong.
I mean, sure, but you know what? You know who lost the ball on that transition? Well, not in that transition game, not in the second game, the second ball, but before the third goal, you know who lost the ball right in the middle and the circle of the middle of the field? Sunday.
Okay, so then maybe I might have a
So-
wrong read.
No, I mean, you read it right that they moved to a back 4 because they did. Like
Yeah.
when that transition play, you can literally see the back 4 very disorganized, but a 4. And then you see it in the next play when Sunday loses the ball. You see the 4 again getting burned again.
Yeah. Olaf did say, though, he was pressed about the substitutions. Matt Baker from Flyover Footy, to give him credit for his question, did ask him specifically, were there changes around the 79th minute? And what Olaf said is more or less, you're forced to make tactical changes that you otherwise wouldn't make in some circumstances based on who's available. So my read on that is that he didn't want to play those players in those positions, but because of who's available, he didn't have choices. That's why, to your question earlier about why they didn't park the bus, so to speak, and play 5 in the back, they didn't have the players to do it. I think
they're not soccer players. To park the bus, you don't have to be that. It's not a technique.
No, I know that. But maybe
do you see Totten?
Yeah,
Jeremy,
as parking the bus is you don't have.
No,
Drogba was parking the bus.
Sorry, I'm bringing it to
no,
Jeremy.
bring it.
But you watch? Did you watch Tottenham against Man United today?
I did. They had everybody, including Dominic Solanke, playing defense. I mean, they parked that bus for good.
I mean, Son was clearing the balls in the middle of the box.
Yeah, no, it's just putting bodies.
Nothing was behind it.
No,
nothing was behind them.
Nope. And you know what United didn't do, as I was screaming at my TV, was no off-ball movement, because if they're parking the bus and doing that, if you have to move to create passing lanes to move the defenders. They didn't do it at all.
They were all in the box.
Yeah, but they didn't do it at all, and neither do we. It sucks. I'm tired of watching bad soccer. But anyway, guys, no.
Can I say one last thing, as I like to watch Twitter and all that. Just a normal announcement, like, people, stats are nice, but watch the whole game and the progression of the ball and every person that touches the ball that ends it as a goal. Because at this moment, I understand everybody loves to use the stats. That's what we use now in today's day, is the stats, the stats, the stats. And that's how they love to call people out on certain players, right?
Yep.
But when there's a goal that happens, it's not just one player on the offense that makes it. It's not the only person in defense that makes it. It takes a progression. You can see there's a few screenshots that shows you how the ball went from 1, 2, 3, 4 in the net. Showing the stats, it's nice, but also you have to watch the entire game and provide us the information that comes with that. See who passed the ball, who received it, who got cooked.
Yeah.
And then you say it's their fault.
The stats are a good complement of watching and analyzing a game.
It's an
It's
addition.
a complement. It was never the tool to judge a performance from a player. You do have to watch the game. You have to literally see what their movements are, how their positioning is, what they're doing, and where the situational leads them to that. Because I have had so many beef with other people too, that, for example, they judge Klaus and Teutcher on their passes and their accurate passes every game.
I could care less.
And they're like, oh, but they look at the numbers. It's like, this is embarrassing. They only connect 45% or 55% of their passes. That's a terrible number. And I go back and tell them, did you watch how they were receiving the ball? Because if you're going to judge the same way passing center backs receive the ball
Yes.
to a forward receiving the ball, just because you see the numbers, then of course the center back is going to have a better percentage passing accuracy, because a center back doesn't get pressed by 3 people from the back.
And sometimes it's a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 as they're trying to figure out who's going to be open next. So it's a tap in for someone that's right next
Correct.
to you.
And the ones that the forwards receive the ball, they're getting eaten alive by 3 or 2 defenders right on the back, right on their ankles, or it's a quick, very bad pass release to them, and they try to like settle and try to pass it under pressure. So you don't see those situational things on the stats because it's never going to show you, right?
I'd rather have
You just see,
well,
he missed the pass, so no, he's bad. He's a bad player. Come on.
but if you think about it, your strikers should have less passes than anyone else in your team.
Your striker should have touches in
More
the
shots.
box and scoring goal.
Yes. And that's why, and your Gary Neville, your Manchester United legend, he said it in a whole bunch of his podcasts. He was looking at the stats and he was dumbfounded seeing that your left back, your right back, and your center back had the better percentage in passes and the most passes of all the players. They were like, that's
Because you
impossible.
would think it would be your 6.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And he
You'll be your
mentioned
6, your
and all that.
10.
That's who he mentioned Messi, Pogba, Conte, these guys that actually take the ball and they're the one that's supposed to have 4, 5, 6, 10 passes in one play. So that's why I just wanted to say that about the stats, because I'm seeing a lot of it and it helps a lot. That's why you do not hear me say stats, because I'd rather just sit there and I will watch the game. And that's why I have Jeremy and others that can bring us those small stats, because I think, sorry.
No, you're good.
No, Sai from online. He was like, he saw me at the stadium and he was trying to catch my attention, but he said I was too focused on the game. Because once the ball is being played, I'm dead focused. The house can be on fire. If there's the ball is progression, that's all I'm going to be watching.
So I look at the stats to tell me if what I see matches the eye test. That's my thing, because sometimes there's deeper analytics. But like tonight, we completed 1/3 of our crosses. We were like 5 of 17. But to you talked to just now about the strikers' touches. So Toy Shirt led all players. He had 6 touches in the box, 3 shots, none on target. Klaus for City was next with 3 touches in the box, 2 shots, both on target. And then Conrad Vollum had 2 touches in the box. Those are the leading players. JGR had more touches in the box than Marcel Hartl. Go ahead.
So on that one, before you continue, so you can compare it now. Toy Shirt and Klaus. Toy Shirt had a bad game. Klaus had a good game, and only with 3 touches, right? Because the 3 touches that Toy Shirt did send them all away. Especially one very clear option. While Klaus, on the other hand, touched it 3 times, but he put both on goal, and one was a goal, right?
Yeah,
so that's how you judge a forward. That's how you judge a forward. But if you never give them those situations to get into it, then you can't really judge them just because they pass the ball wrong, or because you don't know in the numbers if that pass was actually a good pass for him to settle and then find another person. You never know in those numbers where maybe he receives the ball, but nobody's around, or nobody's moving, or nobody's getting on mark.
Yeah. And looks like
you know what I'm so
Rakio is right now. This is what I'm talking about right there. What Mike Rakio is doing. This is the thing that we're talking about at this moment, right? Do you think the stats will tell you what is happening here at this moment on display?
No.
But as you can see, right? See, look. One player, look at that. He's free. He's free.
He has
and look, he's asking for the ball, right?
3 clear passes.
Look at this.
Yeah, easily.
And you switch it, right? Look at that. And what's happening here? What's happening here? What's happening here? What's happening here? Those stats not going to show you that.
It's like we're stuck in. Well, are we stuck in a mind of zonal play versus man marking? Is that the problem, you think? Because I know they said in a few games ago, I forget the game it was, we switched to playing man-to-man defense, basically. And that
was the first goal, right? That happened?
Yeah.
Look, he's right here. He's literally asking for the ball. No one's looking at him.
Yeah.
On that perspective, I don't know what leads to it, but it should be the opposite on your 2 center mids. So JGR should be going, pressing on the ball, while Durkin sits behind it to close the gap so that pass is not played. And if it plays to the other side, someone else that probably Horn should be sliding in and not staying out wide.
Yeah, see? Sprint. Get him back. Here, back up. He's not going to do anything. Here, you just keep the zone to make sure he does not flip and then that's it. But these stats ain't going to tell you what happened here. But what they will tell you, and they will roast whoever fault is it, that the goal happened. But they always forget there's all of these guys here that will happen. Would you imagine if you let Messi this much space? He literally will be walking that in the goal himself. So that was my little rant on the stats, because I was seeing them all, but it's killing me.
I'm 100% with you, Mo. Like it drives me insane, and obviously there's people that love the stats, and I respect them, and I have like hats off on the people who follow the stats, because there's so many things now in soccer that you have to keep track on, and people analyze them so well and explain a lot of things. So hats off on that. But at the same time, it's like, just don't go by that. Like, because soccer is not baseball.
No.
To get that stat. Like, soccer is not baseball where, well, because of the stats on baseball is, did you hit the ball or not? Right? And you get a percentage of it. Like,
that's fair.
You got in base, yes or no? You get a percentage of it. So it's a yes or no stat. While these ones are different. And
that's why we're trying to help. Yes.
Yeah,
and I
like
think
every
that's why
position,
we have these guys here.
Every
Look, I'm not
position you have to analyze it different. The pass, the shots, the clearances, you cannot hold it at the same time as a defender, then a midfield, then a forward. They all change, and they're all situational. So yes, like kudos to all the ones that follow the stats and everything like that. Kudos for that, but at the same time, just don't go by it just because there's numbers involved. Like, just really watch the game and analyze the situationals. And if I'm not saying I have the last say of everything, obviously I'll make mistakes. I'm not right probably 90% of the time or 80% of the time. I don't know, but the way that I see it is because I'm watching the moves of the players and what they're doing as a team. Because many people don't watch coverages. Many people don't even know what coverages is. And I'm not being offensive. Like, it is what it is. Many people don't know what that situational defensive move is, and why on that picture, for example, is a break on the coverage, because the person that was supposed to cover the back of the first one on the ball was not in position.
Yeah, it was.
And then the second one is far wide over there instead of covering the back of the second one. Okay, so
Sorry.
I say I was
Sorry.
gonna
Sorry,
leave
Oscar.
like 30 minutes ago. Sorry,
All right.
but Alejo says percentage wise, how much in this on the players or on the coach? I said earlier, I think there's a lot on the coach, so I would say 75 to whatever it is, 75 to 25.
It's coach management.
It's late, guys. My head hurts.
I go get you.
I
I guess the battle is for Charlie. So
I would say 75 to 25. That would be my opinion. It was a lot on the coach. So, but all right. If you guys gotta stay on, keep chatting. There's more people still active, but I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna eat. Gotta go to the bath. Go up. So
yeah.
We'll
see
do the same thing.
Hey, maybe we'll do the same thing Saturday.
You're gonna try to cause trouble. Or yeah. I guess we'll talk about that later.
Oscar caused trouble? Never. Wait, is he froze or is he actually making that face? If he's not frozen, I'm impressed.
I'm not frozen.
Oh my God.
I'm clipping it. I'm going to clip that.
That's the next freeze for our next episode.
I'm clipping it. But yes,
Right.
but I guess well, for those of you that
guys.
join us, thank you all for joining and hope you enjoyed it. And as much as you enjoyed the game, of course. So looking forward to your feedback. Let us know what you enjoy or you didn't. And we'll go from there. Charlie, Oscar, thanks for joining. Jeremy, once again,
hey, it's a blast,
great
dude.
job.
Hey, it's fun. Unfortunately, the result blows, and it is the worst day of football that I've had in quite some time.
We're sorry.
But because of you guys, I'm smiling.
There you go.
That's the way I end it, my man. Thank you.
Those of you that did not
always.
watch that interview with Chris yesterday, make sure you do and rewatch it over and over again because our US Open Cup is over. So you ain't got nothing better to do. But with that said, peace out.